everyone. My name is Katie, and welcome to the Greenland Quilter channel. And tonight we're going to have quite a bit of fun because I have some guests that's going to be sewing with me. And also Nikolaj is going to be working on something because he only has a few days left with me as well. This is his last weekend home, and next weekend he will be gone. He'll leave Saturday morning, and he'll be gone until May, probably first part of May, babe?
Yeah, I think so.
Somewhere around the first part of May, he'll come home again. So he's working on. Did you want to show him what you're working on?
A crane truck.
It's a Lego Technic crane truck. That, you can put batteries in it, and you can make it move around. That's what he's going to be working on. He started on it yesterday.
Kind of.
Hang on. Wait.
Kind of really
That's
made
neat.
a big dent out of it.
Yep. So you're a little over halfway, right?
Yeah.
So he's a little over halfway. So hopefully he's going to try to get it finished today. So we'll see. That's the goal anyways, to try to finish it tonight. So, all right. Now, I have with me currently Chaunda from Under the Needle, Quilting and Crafts, right? I said that
That's
right?
correct.
And then I have Shereece from So Hooked on Treasures.
Hello.
Janice will be here soon. She's running a little late. So all three of these ladies have agreed to come and sew with me tonight. And they will be working on, they will tell you what they're going to be working on. And then I'll tell you what I'm going to be working on. So what I'm going to be working on is month 1 of the Tula Pink Dragon Fruit Quilt Sew Along through Fat Quarter Shop. And I am making this for my 13-year-old granddaughter because she's I think she's going to be a little eclectic because she's turned out to have the same art talent that my oldest daughter has. And she just seems to like stuff like this. So I think she's going to love it when I send it to her. So that's what I'll be working on. Now I'm going to turn it over to Shereece. And Shereece is going to introduce herself and tell you a little bit about her channel. I'm going to spotlight her. And then she'll tell you what she's going to work on.
Hi, everybody. I don't know if you were here last week or not, but for those of you that were not, I am Shereece Nicole of So Hooked on Treasures. I am a quilter. I have been quilting since around 2010. I mean, technically, I can go back to high school. I won't say what year that was, but it was just a massively failed attempt. But I started quilting for real around 2010. Just fair warning, my kiddos are home this weekend. So if you see little random heads pop up or hear little voices, that's them. Right now they're occupied, but you never know how that's going to go. And tonight I'm going to be working on 2 things. 3 actually, technically. I'm adding a quilt block to this shirt.
Oh, that's cool.
I like quilt block shirts. It's a way of, wearing your quilt and sporting your quilty things without necessarily, toting around a whole quilt, right? So I'm adding a 1 to this shirt. I'm also going to be start piecing a new pattern. So this is it all cut. This is actually 2 quilts in one. So one is an ombre version and one is just a 3-color version. So I'm actually going to start piecing that tonight. And, well, maybe. We'll see how far I get. And I would like to, if at all possible, it shouldn't take me too long, but I want to quilt this. I'm making these for my kids' teachers and some of the faculty at our school because in their elementary school, there's this similar tile design in all the hallways. And so, of course, you see something like that. It's like, oh, I can make that into a quilt, right? So I did. And this is just one of the last ones I have to quilt. The rest of them are finished. But I'm going to hopefully get that at least quilted tonight for our PTO president.
That's outstanding. Thank you for coming and sewing with us tonight. I really appreciate that. I've been super excited. Probably noticed by the amount of emails I've been sending the last 3 days.
Okay.
Okay, now I'm going to Chaunda's next. and Chaunda's going to tell you about her channel and also about what she plans on working on tonight or today.
Yeah, so my name is Chaunda. My channel is Under the Needle Quilting and Crafts, and I basically just showcase the various quilty things that I'm working on and crochet items that I'm working on. That's pretty much the two things that I do primarily are quilting and crochet. It's a very laid back channel. I want to keep this as my craft and not as a business so that I can enjoy it to its fullest, at least for me, at least at this particular point in my life. Um, Tonight I've got a few things I'll be working on. One, I have a quilt top that I'm working on, and of course I have two blocks that I sewed incorrectly that I need to fix so that I can put the quilt top together. And I have a whip here that I did back when the pandemic first started, like back in 2020. It was called a Sew Social, and basically you paid $5 a month, and they sent you the pre-cut batiks for a block. So I made the quilt, quilted it, and all that stuff, but never put the binding on. So I've got my binding ready. So I want to get that binding on today. That would be great. And then if I get both of those done, I have the Fat Quarter Shop quilt along from that started last year or the year before. I don't even remember, but it's called Pressed Flowers. These are the finishing instructions. And so I've got many, many blocks that I've already pre-cut. And so it'd be cool if I could get a couple of those done.
That's outstanding. I think we're all going to have plenty to sew on tonight. And
Sounds
tonight,
like it.
yeah, and tonight, okay, so I have a collaboration that I'm doing with Sean, and the quilt name is called Star Climber, and it's foundation paper piecing, and one of the blocks it was the courthouse stairs, and I've never done either the courthouse stairs or the log cabin. So on this Tula Pink, the first set of blocks you have to make are log cabins. I've never done it, so it'll be my first time doing a log cabin tonight. So I'm pretty excited about that. I just want to do I'm going to say hello in the channel in just a minute, but I wanted to give y'all some information real fast. March, for those of you who are on my Facebook Greenland Quilter group, if you have photos of your projects that you've done in January and February and have not posted them there, go over and post them, because on March the 1st live, I am going to do a mini trunk show probably about midways of the live, and I'm going to share all of your work that you've been working on. It doesn't have to be a finished project. You can share what you're working on. You can share what's partially finished. If you finish something, you can share that. So just try to get it all uploaded over to the Facebook group. If you are not if you are not a Facebook user, I am posting my email in the channel. Email me the pictures and I will put them over on the YouTube community tab. I'll upload them there. And then when we have the trunk show on March the 1st, I can go slide on over there and show those pictures as well. So as much engagement as y'all want to do, please share. And I'm going to show all y'all's pictures, because I think that, y'all deserve some kudos for all the hard work you do too. The next thing I wanted to talk to you about was on February the 25th, we will do episode 3 of What Do You Know About Greenland? And then after that after the episode 3, there's going to be a break for 2 months because Nikolaj's going to be gone. I don't know if I'll try to do a live by myself for What Do You Know About Greenland. It depends on whether or not I can get over to if I can get over to the museum and get some video footage, I probably could go live and do that. And so I'm gonna look into that. Thursday of this upcoming week, I'll be working on a PMQ, and then on Friday, Tammy from Siberian Wind will be sewing with me, and then March the 2nd will be Sean and I doing Star Climber episode 2. So that's all. Okay, now let me say hello to everybody in the chat. Let's see here. We had Lori. Hello. Sean's here. Hey, Sean. Glad to see you. Hey, Judy Smith. Did I miss anyone? At least that's all I see right now. Someone else came in and I don't know who it was. Anyway, don't forget to do the poll up above. And if you have any questions for Chaunda and Shereece, feel free to ask the questions. And Janice will be here soon. She had something come up that she had to go deal with, and she'll be here a little bit late, but she said she was going to come. So she'll be here directly, and then I'll introduce her to everyone as well. So, yep. So what I'm going to do is I'll be starting on these blocks for the tulip pink dragon fruit. So the first one I'm going to work on is called the apple block, which is this one. That's what I'll start on tonight. And we'll see how if I can get all 4 of them done, then I'll go to the next one. I'm a slow sewer.
What is that finish? What's the finished size on that?
The finished size of this quilt is 84.5 by 84.5.
Okay, nice big one.
Yep. It should fit on Abby. Abby sleeps on unless well, I understood that they bought her a new bed. What do you call a bed kit where you have the bunk bed on the top and a desk up underneath it and stuff?
Oh, okay. I know what you mean.
This is something new for her, so I'm pretty sure it's still a twin size bed. It might be a bigger one, I don't know, but it still should fit up there, and she should enjoy the heck out of it. Katie, did you do the French twist from the 1,000 Blocks book? Yes, I did, Judy. I actually have it here if you want to see it. Here it is. Hey, Deborah, and hello, Kirk. Oh, wait. Kirk Stenball. Deborah at work. Legos and sewing and quilting. Oh, my. Laugh out loud. Hi there, everyone. Some names are familiar. Nice to make new friends. Man, my reading is bad tonight. Okay, so yeah, that's a pretty good size quilt. From what I was reading in the I'm trying to think where I saw it at. You get quite a bit of fabric with this. In fact, from what I understand, unless you make boo-koodles of mistakes, you should have leftover fabric to even make, like a mini quilt or something like that.
That's pretty good that they give you enough.
That's what I love about Fat Quarter Shop. They make sure.
Oh yeah, from Fat Quarter Shop, yeah, they always give you enough fabric.
Yeah, because
they make sure you're never short.
Yeah, so this is the sew along through Fat Quarter Shop. It's a monthly sew along.
And if you have enough extra, you can put a few of those blocks together and make like pillow covers. I love to make pillow covers to match whatever throw quilts or bed quilts that I make, just as a nice accent. So that extra fabric is perfect for those if you just make a few extra blocks to go with it.
Great idea, Shereece.
Right, she'll have a whole set.
Yep. So if there's enough, maybe for one pillow sham size, or just depending on what you have, you could either do like 2 small throw pillows, 1 or 2 small throw pillows, maybe, or a pillow sham to go with it.
I'd be shocked if you didn't have enough for at least 1 pillow.
Oh yeah, me too. Absolutely. They're really good about that.
Well, that's great, because that's a great idea. I hadn't thought of that. I could make her. Would it be possible to make like a pillowcase that can go over a pillow?
Yeah.
And just put a lining on the inside of it so that the piecing is protected, or will that just mess it up?
Yep. And actually, so speaking of, that's what I'm doing with this one right here. And I can send you, if you like, my tutorial on how to make an envelope pillow. Because I have to have washable stuff, so I have to be able to come off the pillow so it can go in the wash. But I do an envelope style pillow. So I have the quilt top here, and I just use just some plain fabric. This is a good time to use up fabric either that you don't like anymore or that you don't love anymore. And you once you quilt it, and you don't have to worry about the piecing on the back being an issue when you're using the pillow. And you can either finish it binding less, which is the faster way to finish it, or you can actually add binding. So once you put the layers together with the 2 envelope pieces on the back, you can do the binding around the edge of it also to finish it. So there's 2 different options.
That's actually a great idea, and I would appreciate that, Shereece.
Absolutely.
Since you mentioned about using the leftover for making a pillow cover, and then you have matching pillow shammer cover like you talking about.
Yeah, and I tend to do that with my
that.
patterns, is have enough extra in the fabric requirements, and my blocks are usually big enough to do that. They're usually between 16 to 18 inches most of the time, not always, but they're usually between that size. So it makes use the leftovers just enough to do a pillow or 2 to go with the quilt.
Okay, thank you for bringing that up. That's great.
You're welcome.
That's what this community's all about. We get to, every person has these different things that they can contribute to that I wouldn't have thought of.
Do you have a tutorial on how you do the quilt block mounted to the shirt?
I do, actually.
I think I'm going to check that out. I love that idea. I think that's a fantastic idea.
And I got it actually from, I don't know if you remember her Ruthlessly Handmade, and then it became, what did she change her name to? I don't know. I got it several years ago when I first moved to Georgia. And for my first pattern, I wanted something to like kind of commemorate that. I happened to come across her feed on Instagram, and I just went a little crazy. So, but I just playing with different types of interfacing and different applications, like between shirts, sweatshirts, jackets. I did one, a denim jacket where my daughter, she named the pattern. I was stuck on the name, and she finished the name of the pattern for me. So I made her a small version, a block size version, and put it on the back of her denim jacket for her. So that jacket is too small, but she still wears it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think I'm going to check that out. I love that concept.
Yeah, I do too. And it's, you can't wear it necessarily. I live in Georgia too. So quilt coats, as great as they are, and I have one, I hardly ever get a chance to wear it. And I wanted to figure out a way to still be able to wear my quilt art.
Yeah, I'm with you, because I'm in North Carolina, and
right. You get it.
Usually at the most I need is a hoodie. So, wearing some big coat, like mine just stays in the back of the closet. I haven't pulled it out this winter at all.
You haven't got cold enough at all this go around?
I'm pretty much just going from the house to the car, from the car to a building. And just to go that short distance, I'm not outside long enough to need like my heavy coat.
Yeah, we got some cold here. We had a couple of days where one, we had school shut down because of the cold and the snow and ice. And we didn't get above freezing. And then even, what was that? Not last week. No, because last week was 80. This week it decides it doesn't want to get above 50 or 40 some days.
Yeah, it's because that polar vortex fell apart. So while everybody was freezing, while everybody else is freezing their butt off in the United States, Greenland and Alaska was warmer than most of the United States was.
My goodness. Yeah, my friend Chaunda, she lives in Raleigh, Durham.
Yeah,
and me too. Her and her daughter were outside playing in snow. I was like, how do you have snow and you're that close to me?
Yeah. Well, the last time we were supposed to get snow, we didn't, but y'all did. So it snowed in Georgia, but it did not snow here. We got like a dusting, and that was it. But this time we actually got a little bit of snow. I live right outside of Raleigh. I work in Raleigh.
Okay. Okay. So we're all coming to stay at your house for QuiltCon next year.
I know, I cannot wait. Because I'm like, oh, it's
I'm
going to be my
excited about
backyard
QuiltCon.
again.
We need to, what we need to do is rent a really big Airbnb house. last year, me and my friend and my daughter, we rented Airbnb. It was the best idea we did. We were 5 minutes from the convention center, um, and but because we split the rent, we stayed there cheaper than you would have at even the cheapest of hotels.
Yeah.
And
I did
the
that in
house,
Atlanta.
yeah, the house was a 3 bedroom, um, with a full kitchen. There was this big long dining table where you could invite people over there. A big huge sofa. The master bedroom had a California king in it, and the other 2 bedrooms had queen size beds in there. So you could probably have stuffed a few more people in there if you had wanted to.
Yeah. I think it's like a 20-25 minute drive for me to get to the convention center.
That's not
That's
too
not too
bad.
bad.
Mm-mm. I
What's
loved
the
it.
parking like near there? Is
Well,
there like a decent amount, like, parking garages or places to park to make that
I
easy
had
and
no
convenient?
issues with parking when I went last year.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I didn't hear much people complaining about it either. So not that I'm aware of. Okay,
And I parked like
Judy,
right next to the convention center. Like I did. It's not even like I had to park and walk. Like I was right there.
Good to know.
so Judy Smith has a question for Shereece. Can you share where you are in North Carolina? I am north of Greensboro.
Oh, I'm in Georgia. I'm in
I'm
the
in North
Augusta area.
Carolina.
Is Chaunda that's in North Carolina? What part of
Hmm.
Georgia are you in, Shereece?
I'm in the Augusta area, so we are practically on the border of Georgia and South Carolina.
Oh, okay. Because
For
my son
anybody familiar
lives.
with golf, the home of the Masters.
Okay, gotcha. Because my
Yep.
son he lives on the west side of Atlanta, about 45 minutes out from there, in a little town called Carrollton.
We ride through Augusta. My fiance, he's from Warner Robins,
Oh, yes.
so we ride through Augusta every time we go visit.
Yep. I have an aunt that lives in Macon, and
Yep.
her husband lives in Macon, and then my cousin, her daughter, she used to work in Warner Robins.
Yep. His mom lives in Macon.
Okay.
Small world.
Yes, ma'am. That it is. I mean, I'm originally from Ohio, but
Wow.
yep,
Hmm.
I kind of hopped around a little bit over my 46 years.
I wish I had seen more. I was born and raised in New York. Then I moved to North Carolina when I was like 19, and I've been here ever since. So I do kind of wish I had lived in other places and experienced other places.
And that was one of the things I wanted to do was, if I ever had to go back to Ohio, okay, fine, and that would be a had to go back to Ohio. Not saying I have anything against it because it's a great area. It's great family environment and things like that. So, but it was, there is a whole rest of the world that I just wanted to experience just a taste of it at some point before you know I die, sort of
I
deal.
know, right?
And yeah, and I lived in Connecticut for 8 years. So very familiar with the New York City area, very familiar with Boston because whenever people came to visit, they always wanted to go to one and or the other.
Yeah.
And I think I could get you from Battery Park to Central Park like the back of my hand.
I didn't grow up in the city. I lived outside of the city. I lived in a suburb. I lived in Westchester County in a city called
Yeah, I'm
White
gonna.
Plains.
Thank
Yes,
you.
It's about an hour north of Manhattan.
yep.
So, and I loved growing up there. I had the best time as a kid growing up there, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. That being said, you could not pay me money to move back there. It's so astronomically expensive to live
Yes,
there.
yes, that
Uh,
it is.
Let me see here. Judy says, wait a minute. Judy says Shereece. No. Then she says, "Oh, you just said I." She says she's about an hour and 15 minutes away from Raleigh. And then Sherry says, just saying hi for a little bit, taking a break from Tammy's retreat. Oh, I didn't know there was, oh, I forgot about her retreat going on. That's where everybody is. And then Judy says, oh, sorry, Shereece and Chaunda. You don't have to be sorry.
Not at all.
Nothing to be sorry about at all. So now we're going to use this white. I got to make sure I don't use the wrong thing.
Yep. And Katie, I'm going to see if I can drop the link in the chat for the shirt tutorial.
Okay, and if not, well, hang on. I might have to make it. You're in there, right? Hold on.
I'm in. I can probably add it to the chat. I'm not sharing any, sharing my screen or anything.
Okay, but you're in the chat, right? Because I might have to make you moderator to let you do that, because the bot's probably going to say wrong.
Oh, let's see what I can do. If not, I'll just email it to you.
It may show that you've shared it, but we probably won't see it.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Are you using Sew Hooked on Treasures, or what are you using?
Yes, on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't see you yet.
That's weird. I
Say something in the channel. Say something in the channel so I can see you.
Oh, I haven't. Sorry, I had to minimize my Zoom screen. That's probably why you don't see me.
Okay. Yeah, if you go ahead, I can just give you moderator, and then you can post the links.
Okay. I have to get that link, but anyway, continue on. I'll do it while you're going.
Okay. Hey, Janice, she's here. Judy, are you planning to come to QuiltCon in 2026? And she'll be in the Zoom soon, I think. And Sylvia says, trying to use up scraps, making the broken dishes block end goal a pillow sham. Oh, nice. That'll be cool. And yep, that's so far what we got. Just let me know when you get in the chat. And I'll fix you up. And if you don't want to stay moderator afterwards, I can just take it off.
Okay, no problem. Let's see. Oh, I can do it this way. Okay.
It's up to you. It's just it'll make it easier for you to share a link.
Not a problem.
So what Sylvia's told us what she's working on. What is everyone else working on that's watching the live? And then Sherry says, Judy, I think I asked before, but what town do you live in?
Who, me?
She's asking Judy that question.
Judy.
I definitely think I'm going to stay longer in Raleigh this next go around. Hey, Kevin, how are you? Welcome, welcome. Anyone who has a channel, you can type exclamation selfie to share your channel link. And I'm going to share Shereece's channel again. And Chaunda's, and then Janice. I saw it looked like she was in the chat. There's Shereece. So if you're not subscribed to Shereece's or Chaunda's or Janice's channel, y'all need to mosey on over there and subscribe to their channels to help them grow. Chaunda's. Judy says, I hope to be at QuiltCon in 2025. Last year I went, but only on Thursday to beat the crowds. She's in Reedsville. I think I said that right.
Yep.
And Janice is popping in on the Zoom now. Yay. Hey, girl. All right.
Hey, sorry to be late.
Okay, so Janice meet Shereece, and Shereece meet Janice.
Hi, Shereece.
Hello.
Okay, Janice.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks. Hey, Chaunda.
Hi, Janice. If I end up calling you Janice by accident, I do apologize. Because
It's okay.
I didn't know how to say it. So in my head, every time I've read it as Janice.
It's okay.
Me
It's
too.
okay.
Guilty. Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
Janice, I'm going to spotlight you, and you tell them what you plan on working on tonight,
Okay.
and also tell them a little bit about your channel.
All right. Hey, everyone. My name is Janice. My channel is The Right Way. And I do a little bit of quilting, a little bit of crafting, quilt store visits, mostly quilting. But that's what I do. Today, I'm not at home. I'm on the road, so I took a to-go hand piecing project with me.
Hand
Um,
piecing.
this was an EPP project that I started in Jamaica, and now I'm hand quilting the pieces.
Oh, that's awesome. I have something to show you too, Janice. Guess
So,
who's learning how to hand quilt?
oh, I know that you had Sherry on, and she did
Yeah,
like a
you would
class.
my little handiwork that I did as I'm
Nice.
learning. It's not perfect or nothing, but because she gave us homework to do, and
Okay.
but
Okay.
she says it's pretty good for someone who's never done it in her life.
I
So
mean, for me, there are no rules. You do what brings you joy.
yep.
And, and I firmly believe that.
So
So,
here's my first go at it.
wow. 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 That's very, very good. Very, very good. Look at those straight lines.
Did you draw lines?
I used what do you call that white thing?
The score, the thing that makes
It's
the.
that's what I used, and a ruler, and then I
Mm-hmm.
just followed the line. So you can see there's some stitches that look consistent, and then there's some not so consistent.
Yeah, but when you hold it back, you don't even see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all the little thread tails you see is because Katie doesn't know how to fasten off.
Oh.
That has always been an issue with me. When I would sew buttons on a shirt, like have to fix a button or something, I didn't know how to fasten off properly where you hide that knot and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so you can just the sew the edge of the string back into the quilt
That's what Sherry was saying. So I'm going to
between the
rewatch the
layers.
video again and see if I can't figure it out.
Yeah. Some people make a knot at the end of the last stitch, and
Mm-hmm.
then when they sew it back through, they pull the knot into the fabric.
Okay.
And then some people just weave it through several stitches on between the fabric and the batting.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Um, let's see here. Sylvia says you'll probably travel more. Yeah, the trip that I'm going to do in 2025, unless things deteriorate and make it hard for us to travel, because of what's going on in our world around us, especially when it relates to Greenland. I'm making a big trip, and I thought I would spend like a week in Raleigh just so I could go see all of y'all, and I want to go to the museum that's there, and I want to go to the botanical garden that's there. Because I was when I had never been to Raleigh till last year when I went to QuiltCon for the first time, and I have to say I was frankly surprised. I thought that Raleigh was, I don't know, some big huge place that was full of skyscrapers and stuff.
No.
And it really surprised me. And what surprised me even more was seeing flowering wisteria up and down the highway on our way in. I'm like, wow, I did not know wisteria could grow all the way up in North Carolina.
One of the things I love most about living in North Carolina is that it's still very green.
Yes, yes.
It was beautiful. That's why I want to go looking around.
Explore some more.
That was the word I was trying to come up with.
Yeah.
Sometimes the words. Okay, so now I have the center done so far.
Coming from Jamaica, North Carolina is a very nice, you know, I guess, move. Not too, the weather is not too extreme, not too far from tropical weather, and it's very green, which was a surprise to me too when I came here, because, you know,
I was really surprised that even, you know, I'm a plant person, as everybody knows. I mean, I've been doing it for a long time. So I recognized a lot of trees and plants up there because we have them in Florida. And I mean, what surprised me was seeing big, huge bamboo stands all over the place. And they were massive sized ones. And I'm like, I never would have thought anything about bamboo growing that far north.
I hate this.
Okay. There's some more comments in the chat. Sherry, are you coming to QuiltCon? And then Judy says, Sean answered Judy's question about being in Virginia, and he's talking about doing a creator meetup like last year on Saturday. They are doing that right now in Phoenix. Did you guys see that? I don't know if any of you watched any of the videos going up for QuiltCon in Phoenix, but if you did y'all see that quilt of the Native American woman statue that was done as a quilt? Oh,
I haven't
my
looked
gosh.
yet.
It's on both sides. You know how you have a backing on the back? They made it two-dimensional, so when you go on the back side of it, you see the back side of the Native American.
Huh.
It's really cool looking.
I think I heard you talking about it last night, Katie, but I have not looked at any content surrounding QuiltCon this year.
I forgot that it was.
Say that again?
I forgot that QuiltCon was now until Sean mentioned it in the chat. He was like, last year at this time we were at QuiltCon. And I was like, holy moly, I forgot it's going on right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm having a little FOMO going on because I wish I was there. I wanted to go.
Yeah, we all want to be there.
Yeah.
I knew I wasn't going when they said it was going to be in Raleigh next year.
Yeah, what I heard that too, because I was like, let's see how I can figure out to go to Phoenix. And then I heard it was going to be in Raleigh in 26. And I was like, I'll wait to 26. That's a little closer to home.
Where are you, Shereece?
I'm in the Augusta area in Georgia. I'm about 3 hours from Charlotte.
Okay. Yes. If QuiltCon wasn't coming to so close to home, I would not be going, because I'm not really the kind of large crowds people person.
I am not either, and it was such a struggle for me last year.
Yes. Yes.
I think we all did pretty good, though, don't you think, Sean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it was just, I felt like a fish out of water, because I'm just not, it's just not my thing. But there was just no way I could let it be this close and not go.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to Atlanta. I heard it was going to be Atlanta. I was like, 2-hour drive? I'm there.
And that was why I didn't go to Atlanta. I was going to go to Atlanta, but it was going to be in Raleigh the next year.
Right. So you're like, I'll just wait.
I find driving even next to Atlanta intimidating. My gosh. People are just when I was driving to Carrollton from Florida, Nikolaj, I tell you, some parts of the area right outside of Atlanta where we were at on our way to Carrollton, the way people were driving, it was insane. And then of course you got 4 lanes of traffic, and that already makes me crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, it was 7?
7 lane.
Yeah.
Yeah, not 7 in one direction, was it?
Yep.
All I know is when that semi truck started going on both sides of me, it was freaking me out.
Well, the first time we drove to Atlanta, because our kids do summer camp in Atlanta. First time we drove to Atlanta, we're driving and it's a normal highway, and then I looked down and looked up and there were 8 lanes, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what? It's very intimidating.
Since Adrian is from there, whenever we go, he drives. I don't get behind the wheel at all.
Yeah.
Oh, since I'm the only driver, I don't have a choice.
Yeah. He's from there, so I'm like, you got it.
Well, after driving in the New York City area and the Washington D.C. area, yeah, that's fine, because then you go into the city, and not only like you have fewer lanes, but if the way people drive in those fewer lanes is, I don't get it. But you have to drive like the crazy people, because if you don't, then they're going to run you over. That's going to cause an accident more than driving, what.
Yeah, it's the same thing with Jacksonville. Nikolaj's like, you need to slow down. I said, you can't. If you do not drive fast like everyone else, you will cause an accident.
You're going to get run over.
I've always been, you will get run over. I always told you drive like everybody else does in Jacksonville, and people will slow down if there's cops sitting somewhere.
Exactly. But the thing is, like, if everyone's going that fast, it just is what it is. You go with the flow of traffic.
Yeah. It definitely I think it intimidated him a little bit, because I was driving so fast. I'm like, I'm just doing what everybody else is doing, because if you don't, you're going to get your butt killed.
Yeah. When we would drive, and I got so used to it, in the Northeast, my parents used to get scared driving with me, and I was like, might want to close your eyes, because it's not going to get any better.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I had to learn how to drive in Jacksonville, because there was times when I had to go by myself, and my father and a couple of church people said, when you go to Jacksonville, you need to drive just like them, because if you don't, you're going to get yourself killed.
Yes,
this is not Jacksonville is not Lake City, so just remember that. I had to do my OJT when I was in college. I had to do a semester of OJT, which is on the job training. Mm-hmm. And so my internship was done in Jacksonville, and so I had to get up at 4 a.m. every morning to drive to Jacksonville from Lake City, because I had to be on the job at 7, and then we would get off at, I think, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And my drive back home to Lake City, there was times where I had to pull off on the side of the road, close my eyes for 30 minutes, because I'd find myself just about fall asleep at the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, goodness.
Just it's exhausting driving that kind of highway.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I've never had to do it. I never drove when I lived in New York.
In New York, I'm not driving in New York. Oh no. I mean, what I mean is I would never drive in Manhattan, much less Brooklyn. And I've been to both, and New York City has the most beautiful botanical gardens I have ever seen, and oh my God, I could just live inside of that place. And I got yelled at more than once for sitting on the grass. You cannot sit on the grass. You cannot lay on the grass. And I'm like, why not?
That's funny.
But they don't want you sitting on the grass, walking on the grass, or even laying on the grass. Let's see, number 5. I have to be careful to put these colors in the
Maybe I'm still here. I turn my computer on so I can see my pattern.
Okay, that's fine. No problem. Number 5.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, there you are. Okay. This is the first time doing this log cabin block.
Oh, dang it. I pulled it right out. Such a moron.
Sherry says you have to see this quilt, and then Alicia says it's beautiful. Talking about the Native American one, it is.
Mm-hmm.
But Tiffany posted some footage, and I can't remember if it was in the beginning of the footage or about midway. She'll see that quilt. But I also heard that, what channel was it? Sister Chicks? I think that's the name of her channel.
Yeah.
She also posted some footage of that quilt. I haven't gone over there to look yet, but from what I understand, she posted some really great pictures. Or video one. I'm not sure which. It seems like either A, they have less quilts at Phoenix, or either Phoenix is bigger, that convention center's bigger one. Because there was more, you remember, Chaunda, that it seemed like there wasn't all that much open floor space when we
There
were
wasn't.
in Raleigh?
There wasn't, yes.
When I was watching the video that Tiffany posted, there was so much open space. So I don't know if the building was bigger or if they had less quilts.
It's probably a bigger space.
That's what I was thinking. It maybe was just a bigger building.
Because, that convention center is so divided.
The one in Raleigh is divided?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, it's a large building, but there's so much, like, there's so many, like, smaller conference rooms. So, like, the main area is just not super big.
I really liked how they separated the vendor, put the vendor area on one side and put all of the quilt show on the other side the way they did. I liked how they did that. And then they had like that little center area that you can, with the stage on it. I thought that was a great idea how they set all of that up like that.
I like the setup too. I do wish the room had been a little bit bigger so things were a bit more spread out. Yeah. But I liked the overall setup though.
Yeah, I agree with you. They needed more chairs and they needed more space because you saw how quickly those seats filled up whenever they were doing anything.
Yep.
And maybe they didn't realize that. I don't know. Maybe they didn't know the numbers was going to be so big, but I don't know.
I don't think they did.
Yeah, because I think more people come than they thought was going to come.
I don't think anybody anticipated it, and I think that's why they're having it there again in 2026. Because remember, everything was sold out.
Yeah. Yeah.
All those classes was sold out stuff by the time I started looking. Because someone says you should take a class, and there was like 1 or 2 classes I was kind of interested in, and the rest of them were so expensive there was no way I could do them. So
Yeah.
The classes sold out quick, and even all of the vendors sold out.
Yeah, they were out of stuff early.
And, when I was in Atlanta, and when I was looking at registering for classes and lectures and whatnot, basically like there's like a lottery system. People are camped out at their computers. Wow. Like the day registration opens, and then once it opens, you are put in line. So like at a virtual line, and you have a number, and then as your number comes up, that's when you can actually go in and register. So it's like it's a whole thing to register for classes. Yeah, it's insane. Like, so, and that's not just a Raleigh thing. So with getting into a class, it's something that if you want to take a class, day registration opens, is camp out and get in the virtual line and pray that you get what you want. But people they have like a list of what they want because you only have a finite amount of time. It's not like 5 minutes, but you have a certain amount of time. Once your number comes up, then you go in and you choose and pay for your classes. So before you even get in line, it's a matter of going through the schedule, seeing what you want to take. So you have your list, prepared so that you don't use your time on looking at what you want to take.
Gotcha.
And you can just go in and say, basically have them ranked even. Like, here are my choices, 1 to whatever. So that way you start with your first choice. If that's full already, then you go to your next choice and so on. So I was glad somebody told me that, because I had no idea it was that, what's the word? I don't even know, but it was just that much planning that went into just taking classes.
Yeah.
I did not know that. But it explains a lot.
Yeah, that's why.
And some of it was quite pricey too. I was surprised at the price of some of it. I'm like, wow, you got to be kind of loaded with money.
I got to take two classes. They weren't like the ones that I really wanted were sold out or out of my price range, but
yeah,
I got to take 2 classes because I just wanted the experience of that. And so I found 2 that worked for me, and I took those, and I had a good time with those.
What classes did you take?
I took one on basically taking a photograph and making a quilt block from it in EQ8.
Oh, cool.
Yes, yeah.
And the other one, I couldn't tell you what it was.
I would do an EQ8 class as well.
And it was because I had bought the software but never used it, and really just never took the time to figure out how to use it. So it was kind of like an introduction to the software in addition to learning how to make a quilt block from a picture.
Now, see, that is one class I would take, is the one using the software. Yeah, because I have the software and I'm trying to learn how to use it. And my goodness, it's not. You know what it reminds me of? I used to when I was in college, I took an AutoCAD class because you can use it for landscape design when you're designing a landscape. And because there's 2 ways you can make landscape design. You can do it the old way by drawing it out on paper, which is what I love doing the most. But you can also use a computer to do it with a CAD program. And I got pretty good with the AutoCAD, but I've not touched an AutoCAD program in, oh my gosh, maybe, let's see, since 1998, I guess.
Wow.
And so that's a long time to be away from a CAD program. So I have this EC8, and it's like, I'm so confused because I can't figure out how to navigate around it properly.
I'm just there was a time when I would have read the manual and walked through it, but at this particular point in my life, I have no desire to do that. I just want somebody to show me. I'll learn it quick, but I need you to show me.
Yeah.
And I think they do have classes online that you can pay for, but I just haven't.
Maybe that's something I should think about doing then, because I would really like to learn it, because I'm not saying I want to become a pattern designer. No, that's not what I want to do. But you see that do y'all see that quilt top over there? Can you see it?
Yeah. The gray with the red.
Yeah. Let me see here. Let me turn this. I just did that on the fly. I drew a picture. Let me show you. And then I just decided what size half square triangles I was going to use in it. But this is my picture.
Yeah. Yep.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
And all I did was because I want it look to me. I hope it looks very modern, because that was my goal. Make a modern quilt.
And there are resources for free on YouTube also. I don't know how good they are, but there are videos on YouTube that kind of give you like an introduction to EQ8.
Yeah, I need to take the time and learn.
But you mentioned having somebody teach you, and that's the difference, is that there's something about having somebody right there.
Exactly.
And then you have it
hands-on,
blocked out that time. There's, you're in the class, you're
Yeah.
not interrupted by other stuff going on, and squirrel moments, because I am very prone to those, let me tell you.
Right. And I think that's why I haven't done it, because I would need to block out like a 3-hour time where I'm just focused on that, and I'm just I'm just not able to focus like that at this point.
No, I get it. And that just makes a huge difference to be able to do that.
Yes.
Versus to ask a question.
Exactly.
Okay, what is everyone working on that's watching in the chat? Let us know what you're working on. And also, if you have any questions for Janice or Chaunda or Shereece, please post them and we'll ask the questions.
And I challenge you all to say all three of our names really fast.
I'm so happy about us sewing together. It's really great. I wish I could.
Yes.
I wish I could have pinned down Katie and Stephanie Harris. That would have been fun too.
Oh, yeah.
But Katie's at QuiltCon. I do know that. I've seen her there. Well, seen her pictures.
Oh my God! You know who else is at QuiltCon? And I know some of you won't care about this, but I care. Becca sent me a picture, and she was standing next to a Rainy of Chicory Doo. She is at QuiltCon, you guys. So jealous.
Yeah, there's lots of people there. My goodness.
Actually, last year when I went to QuiltCon and I met all the content creators that I met, I felt like I was kind of fangirling. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm among.
I did too.
I fangirled so hard I couldn't even introduce myself. Like because I'm in love with Brittany Lloyd over at Lo and Behold Stitchery. I love everything she does. Yeah. Everything she does, I love it. And so I kept just lingering by her booth because I wanted to say something to her, and I just could not bring myself to open my mouth.
Sometimes it's hard to do that because when we were at QuiltCon last year, I got to talk to the tattoo quilter.
Oh, and, yep, Christopher. He's awesome.
Yeah, Christopher. He was in a booth, but then he was with someone else. I can't remember who it was. And she was so surrounded by people that I just stood there and I'm like, there's no way I can go through all these people just to say, hi, my name is Greenwood, blah, blah, blah.
Yes. That happened with Karen Brown for me.
Yeah.
So surrounded by people.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like,
Yeah, the thing is that with Christopher, he's so nice. Like, and Brittany too. Like, she was super sweet. And Holly Ann Knight from String and Story down in Duluth. I say down, so technically for me, it's like across.
But Katie was there too, and I got to
meet her. I got a chance to meet her in Atlanta.
Yeah, and she stood and we talked for like a half an hour. I mean, I figured she would just want to say hi and run off, but nope, she stood there and talked to me for a while.
Yep, we actually it's myself, Katie, and Mary of Merry Go Round Quilts, and Lynette
too. Yep,
she is, and Lynette of Lynn's Avenue. She's out of Australia. But about once a month, every other month, we get together and do like a catch up, quilty biz chat, and just to help each other out, the whole like rising tides thing. And they're all just great people.
Yeah. I mean, Karen Brown was really, really very friendly too. She saw me and called me over and said, come on over. And she took pictures with me and stuff. So what it was like. And being an introvert does not help.
No.
Hey Jackie, welcome to the chat. Judy says still working on the print. Still working on the French twist. Wish the book had better instructions beyond the page. What do you need help with, Judy? And I can try to help. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't give you any directions on how to sew those blocks. You have to basically cut the pattern the way it tells you to, but you have to but I'm a visual learner, so I guess I'm at an advantage there because I just looked at the picture. But if you don't line the angles up right, you get in a little bit of a problem. If you have a question, let me know and I'll see if I can't help. We're talking about this, where's that book? I bet that book's back in the bit. No, right here. It's right here. Hold on. For those that don't know what she's talking about, it's this book.
Oh, yeah.
And it's got tons of blocks in there. But the thing is it'll tell you what to cut to make the block, but it doesn't tell you what the unfinished block size should be. And also it doesn't bother to tell you how to, verbal or written wise, it doesn't tell you how to make the block. But if you look at the pictures, it kind of does, in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them, not all of them.
Yeah.
But I'm doing a block out of this book every other week as a tutorial.
So the 501 block books, block book, I can't speak today,
okay,
that I'm using for my block of the live. The instructions in it are really not user friendly either. So I just Google the pattern and try to find a free pattern with the same block, and that's what I've had to do.
It's the same thing with these quilt builder card decks.
It
basically tells you what to cut based on what size block you want to make, but it does not tell you how to do the block. But if you look at there's a hang on a minute, let me show you something. But if you look at this graphic here, that center block, see how it shows it in pieces? If you look at that part, that does help you a little bit on knowing what to do. It just doesn't bother to tell you what order to do it in.
Yeah. I normally just draw them in a graph book and figure it out.
That's what I do, draw it on paper.
Yeah.
It helps to draw it out because I'm a visual learner, so it's not everybody's text instructions work either.
Yeah, true. I got I kind of treated myself a little bit a few years ago because I had just notebooks and they were starting to pile up. And with finding that amount of space in my room, I went to it's called the Remarkable notebook. It's basically an electronic notebook, but you can change the paper to whatever you want. So I can have like one notebook, but I can have a line page, and a graph page, and I can change it up all kinds of ways. And it's been, it's so thin I can put it in my purse. And I can, if I want to access like the PDF version, like, so if I didn't have the notebook with me, I can go into the app on my phone and pull up, just a visual of what I wrote. So my notes, like, I have between quilting, kids, the PTO at school, and just all kinds of like random notes, but it's just in one small, notebook
that sounds
now.
Like something I need to have.
Awesome. Let me grab it. I'll show you.
Okay. Yeah, because I haven't heard of Remarkable, but I've heard of what you're talking about as a concept, and I thought about it because like I've got like 3 notebooks around me just right now because I'm constantly, and then it's like, what did I write down or which notebook did I put it in, and I don't know, and I'm like looking through each notebook, and I'm like, the one that I was looking at, it does once you're done writing whatever, it saves it into a PDF and it like just syncs with your computer, and I'm like, but I didn't know how that would work for me. So that, yeah, I'm interested to see this.
Yeah, and I have ended up loving it, and just because same way I had notebooks everywhere, and then like I would have to like leave some pages blank, and so I could start something, have notes for something else, and then that might not be enough, or it might be too many, and then I have these extra pages. I know it sounds really silly, but it was like this, you can just add pages like if you're using a Word document or a Google document, you can add pages, move them around if you wanted to. But so this is the sorry for the reflection, the home screen.
Okay.
Let's see if I can block my light over there.
Wait. Hang on. Let me spotlight you so everybody can see at the
Oh,
same time.
okay.
Hold on.
So,
okay, go ahead.
Okay, sorry about the reflection. My lights are crossed for me. So, so I have like all these different folders. And each folder is whatever it is. And then if I just tap on a folder, and my fingers are messing that up. Come on, there we go. So if I tap on a folder, then I have sometimes other folders, and then sometimes just other documents that I am working on. But I'm gonna pull up my blocks folder here, and I have different notebooks. These are like virtual notebooks under quilt blocks, and I just can pull them up and tap on it. And so here I was doing different team logos. So all of you that live in South Carolina will probably recognize this one, but let's see, hang on. You can you swipe to go through, and let's see. So here I did one for anybody from Indiana will recognize this one. And then, oh, come on.
So does it have like a little stylus pen you use with it, or do you just do it with your pen?
You can do both. So this is a stylus that's magnetized that sticks to the side of it.
Okay.
So it has, and then, it's a stylus tip. And so I have some pages. So this one has graph paper that has just the dots on it. And I can just create my lines where I want to. And then let me go back. Give me 1 second. Close out of this one. Give you an example of how I do it for my quilt patterns, quilts, and so here I have a page. Here's my notes for one of the fabrics that I was going to be using, and the code. So I have like a line page, and then if I tap here, I can see all my pages, and then I can just go to each individual page. I can add pages, move them around, sort of deal. And yes, and then I can go on the app on my phone or any other device that I have the app on, my laptop, and then I can just pull up the image if I need to, if I don't have the actual notebook with me. And it comes out of the cover. And it also you can buy a separate typewriter. I have not done that. I'm perfectly okay just writing it out. I want to feel like I'm writing on paper.
Yeah.
Just not using all the paper.
Yeah, makes good sense to me. That's the purpose of using little notepads to begin with, so you can handwrite and draw. And that looks like what's the estimated price of something like that?
I want to say this one's roughly in the $400 range.
Okay.
Yeah, so it is an investment. I will say that. However, it is a huge space saver. And the battery lasts forever. You can even, I think there's a newer version now, and where it actually has, this one has a highlighter that you can use with it. However, on the screen, it doesn't appear in color. The newer version appears in color. So if you can upload a PDF, and if you're doing edits or marking up or whatever, you can highlight, underline, all those sort of things in color. I'm trying to think what else, but yeah, they've added even just upgrading the features that are on this version. Being able to do like straight lines. Before, like when I would draw a line, it's kind of haphazard. It's not exactly straight, but if you hold it in one place long enough, it snaps to it. So then it creates a straight line as if I had drawn a straight line. Little things like that, especially if you're drawing out blocks and designs and what have you. But yeah, it's been, I love this thing. Absolutely love it.
I'll have to look into that, because that sounds like something I could use for doing this kind of thing. Because
I'm definitely looking into that.
Sounds like a birthday gift.
Right. That's why I said I treated myself, because it was truly a treat. It wasn't, something I was like, oh, okay, $20, whatever. No. So yeah,
Both
it's definitely an
Nikolaj and
investment.
I
But
use it
if
a
you
lot.
use it a lot, I mean, if you use a lot of notebooks and have notebooks all over the place, it probably took me about a weekend or two to take all my old notebooks and put them in there and write all my notes, transfer all my notes. And so now I have
Wow.
everything in one place. I have space on my shelf because I did not have a lot to begin with at all. So yeah, that was that was big.
That's cool.
Yeah, I like that. I like that as a concept. I'm gonna have to check that out because I'm constantly writing stuff down.
Do you have
Constantly.
a link for that also?
I can do that.
And I'm going to share the Quilty Tees thing in the chat too. I just saw where you put that.
Oh yes, sorry, I forgot. I put it in the Zoom chat.
It's fine. That's a good. I didn't even think about the Zoom chat. The link I'm posting now has to do with how to make the Quilty Tees that she was showing y'all, or that she's making. I'm sorry.
Okay, which I did finish mine. That isn't actually because the block was already done. So I did actually finish sewing it onto the shirt.
Oh, nice.
Rita wants.
Very
Oh,
nice.
that's pretty. Wow. Rita says, "What was it called again?" She missed what it was called. The tablet.
Remarkable.
Yeah, if you'll send me the link, I'll post it in the chat for them.
You got it. I'm gonna get that now. Because if I don't do it right now, Lord knows I'm going to forget in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, we'll forget about it. Both of us will. And then someone's going to come back and say, "You remember how we were talking?" Yeah. And then I'm like, "Uh-oh."
Oh, right. That.
Well, interesting thing happened. The book that you saw me talking about 2 weeks ago, or 2 or 3 weeks ago, when I told him I was giving them the countdown on when we were going to start. When you went on Amazon, that book wasn't there. I kept getting the 404. Then yesterday, John, who comes in periodically to watch my lives, he told me he found it on Amazon, and he showed me how it was, and I went and looked on Amazon. It was on there. So I don't know why it wasn't on there 2 weeks ago, but now it's back on there.
It was all the
Go
stuff.
figure. But it made me happy because the ones that want to sew along on these blocks can now order the book. The book went up a little bit, but not too terribly bad because I think I paid $30 for it and it was $32.99. So that's really not a drastic change in price. All things considered with the current state of the inflationary stuff going on.
No kidding.
Shereece, are you a teacher?
As a school teacher?
Yes.
No, that was definitely not my call.
Okay.
No, but I'm on the board for our PTO at my kids' school.
Okay.
And so that's my way of supporting our school and helping out. Because I learned during COVID, I kind of had the feeling beforehand, but I definitely learned during COVID when my daughter was going to kindergarten and doing virtual school. Yeah.
Yep.
Not me. Not my thing. So I have found other ways that don't involve, but I just see these teachers and the patience they have and how they are just like, you guys do it. I'm like, and I have two. Only two. They have a class of like 20 kids. Some even almost 30
20
kids.
or more. Yes. 20 or more.
Like, oh, Lord, I have no idea how they do it.
Yeah.
God bless them. I pray for them every day and I help them in other ways that I can because, yeah, they have a whole lot going on.
I was teaching 4th grade during the pandemic. It was so crazy.
I bet.
As a teacher and as a parent, it was really.
Oh my goodness.
It was crazy.
Oh, I bet. Because even, she was in kindergarten. So this is like her first, education experience. And,
yeah,
it was tough. So when she actually started, when we moved here, because we were living in Germany at the time when she started kindergarten,
Mm-hmm.
So then when we moved here, they were actually in seat. So she was extremely excited. She was ready to go. She did fine. So I did talk to her teacher about a month in or so about how she was doing. And her teacher was like, oh, so she's never been in a classroom. I said, no, this is our first time actually in seat. And she said, well, that explains why she just randomly gets up and starts walking around. Yes, like she's not used to that. And, but, either way, but she was doing really well. Because even before she started school, with her and her brother, he's 14 months behind her, so basically a year behind her. And it's like we could easily, you guys play all day and I sew all day and everybody's happy. We could do that. However, you got the not so nice mom who's actually going to teach you during COVID too. So they started learning how to write.
So much for
They
having a
started reading.
vacation, right?
Yeah, don't get me wrong, because Mama wanted her, her sewing time too. So they got their playtime. Everybody got that fair time. But, in the mornings we would have, educational time where we were learning to read and write and things like that. And they started learning chores. So they were learning how to do cleaning, and we were all doing it together, and how to make their beds and all the things. And, it would have been very easy to just fall into, we're just going to play all day. Your version of playing and my version of playing. But things still had to be done. And, my son did an essay last week, I think, as an opinion essay on whether kids should have chores or not. So I don't know if I'm trying to get on my good side or not. Maybe there's something wrong. He tries to make up for that. But he said, I think kids should have chores. It teaches them responsibility and time management. And I said, okay, what do you want?
What do you want?
What do you want?
He was definitely selling you.
I was like, did you do something? I mean, come on, buddy. He was like, no, Mom, I'm serious. And I said, okay.
Rita says, no way would I want to be a teacher in today's society. Kids are not very nice. Yeah, that's because of parents.
We've never been nice. It's just that I feel like it used to be okay to put kids in their place.
Yeah. Yes.
And now it feels like if you try to put a kid in their place, then they say that you're being mean. And it's not being mean. It's just that you need to learn that these are what the rules are, and I expect you to follow them. And my rules might be different than your parents' rules.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I have a story to share with you guys, and it's a little bit of a tough story, kind of. When I was in I believe it was the 3rd or 4th grade, I think, one of those. And so every day the teacher would take us out for recess, and this was in Oviedo, Florida, and the area she would take us to had lots of pine stands on part of it, and so a lot of us girls would go and take and rake up the pine straw and make like a circle around the tree and pretend we're playing house. And one day during recess, 3 boys from the middle school, was either the middle school or the high school, came over while the teacher was distracted and dragged 3 or 4 of us off behind this fence that was covered in a vine.
Wow.
And they tied us up. They were going to do something bad. And when the teacher turned around and couldn't see part of it, she started blowing her whistle. Well, we couldn't come because we were secure. And my little friend that was next to me, she says, I'm sorry this is happening to you. Apparently she knew the little boy or the older boys. And so when they realized the teacher was coming to look for us, they untied us and they ran off. So when we finally got to the teacher was mad. I mean, mad because 3 of us didn't come to her. And so she went to haul us off to the principal's office to get a paddling because we didn't come to the whistle. And I told her, I said, you're not going to lay a darn hand on me, call my daddy and my mom. Well, the principal says, well, you broke the rules. I said, call my daddy. And when my mom and dad got up there and I told them what happened, ooh, my daddy was livid. They caught those boys. but she was going to whip me over something I had no control over.
Mhm.
You know, and so I
Yeah.
don't think teachers or principals should be whacking kids.
Well, no, when I say put them in their
Yeah.
place, I don't mean hitting, because nobody's allowed to put their hands on my child.
Yeah.
Period. Like, that's just not allowed. No. I wouldn't. I don't even let family members do that. So that's
Yeah.
a no for me. I just meant like verbally.
Yeah, verbally they need to be corrected.
I'm in defense of teachers. It's so hard. You're constantly thinking and making decisions all day. All
Yeah.
day. And
Yeah.
you're weighing, did this, like I'm teaching middle school now, and I watched a big little boy, just barrel another little boy into the wall.
Uh-oh.
I stood and saw it with my own eyes. And he said, I didn't do that. I didn't do anything. And
Oh my gosh.
and he had his friends saying they didn't do it either. You know what I'm saying? And if I didn't see it, let's say I was turned another way, then I would be grappling with, is he telling the truth or is he lying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's crazy. But I pray because I said it on a live the other day that I feel like I'm spending my adult years recovering from my childhood years. And because the adults in your life, they can break you with a word, you know? And so I pray that, you know, I'd have wisdom when I deal with these kids, and, you know,
This
compassion
teacher
and
was,
empathy,
yeah, this
because
teacher was
it's
just one of
hard.
those kind of teachers, that's all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard as a teacher.
Yeah.
I bet it is. Every morning we before the kids either get on the bus or we get in the car if I'm taking them. Yeah, we say a prayer every morning. Every
Mhm.
morning. And just for the teachers,
Yeah.
just for student safety,
Yeah.
you know, and just not even just teachers, but the staff, and
Yeah.
whether they're custodians, they're paraprofessionals, they're, you know, the administration, secretary, whoever. Yeah, we pray for the whole lot every single
Yeah.
morning
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
they step out the door.
Yeah. It's not easy. And coming from Jamaica, I don't know if you guys know anything about education in Jamaica, but respect is priority on our list. It's like number
Yep.
one,
Yep. Yep.
you know, and the students, very few of them would be disrespectful to a teacher. We have to deal with them and how they interact with each other and how they treat each other. But to an adult, it's very rare that a student in Jamaica would be disrespectful to an adult. And there are times when if I'd say, I'd have to think twice about telling the parent that their child was disrespectful,
Right.
because
That's what
they
I
would get in
mean.
trouble at
That was
school and then they would get in
yeah.
trouble at home. You know, or I'd have to say quickly, oh, but she apologized and she never did it again.
But it
So
seems like now it's like the opposite. It's like you got to be afraid to tell the parent that their
yes,
child is disrespectful, because the parent is going to be combative with you.
right,
Yep.
right,
Yep.
right. Which is, it's talk, the culture shock coming from Jamaica is real. Because
Things have changed so much in the last 30 years. It's not the
yeah,
way it used to be. You know,
I mean,
parents are teaching their kids to be most part respectful. I
yeah,
mean, I
yeah.
never, you know, if I back talked to a teacher and not a phone call went home, oh my God.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well,
Right
it's
with
still
your
like
fan
that
when I
in
got
Jamaica.
home.
It's
And
still
what's
like
so
that
funny
in
is that because
Jamaica.
I volunteer at the PTO and I'm
Mm-hmm.
up at the school so frequently, like the teachers and the administration, like they all have my cell phone number. So they can
Mm-hmm.
quickly like, oh, you did this.
They
Like,
can't
yeah,
get
you
away
might
from
want to talk
anything,
to this
right?
one. Yeah.
I mean,
So
I do that a lot. I rarely send the text, but they'll think that I've sent it.
exactly. And I just tell them, I was like, you know, just about everybody in this building can get a hold of me very easily. So I'm like, your security officer? Yes. Officer Porter, she can get a hold of me. So just saying.
Yep.
Not that we had that issue.
Parents call me a liar. You're a liar. My child would never do or say this.
Oh my goodness. And so my first statement is, I get that call. I'm like, okay, what did you do?
Yes.
No, don't even. It's what did you do?
Tell me before the teacher tells me. That's what I told my kids when they were younger. You tell me before the teacher tells me.
Yeah, and so now, like, they'll walk in the door. Mom, I need to tell you something. This is what happened. I'm like, you want to take your backpack off?
So Jackie made a comment. She said, homeschool can be hard. My grands are all in different grades. They all have class meeting at the same time. Yeah, I know of a YouTube creator called Good Simple Living, and she has 4 kids, and she homeschools all of them, and they all are together. She teaches them all at the same time, and she used to be a teacher, apparently. Michelle says, hi from Independence, Missouri. Let me see here. Michelle says, discipline without physical contact or bullying. Yeah, bullying is now a big deal, man.
That's no joke.
It was a big deal with when my kids were in my two younger ones were in high school. Well, all 3 of them were in high school actually, and all of them were doing band because 2 of them needed a PE elective credit, and so they signed up for marching band. And one day Kristen came home and she says, Mom, did you know that there's these boys that's been grabbing Thomas when he comes out the back door to get a drink from the machine and taking all his money? I'm like, what are you talking about? Because I gave them money every day to buy water and drinks because they were out there in that hot sun marching. And so when Thomas come home, I said, Thomas, has someone been taking your money? Yes. And why haven't you told me? Because they threatened to hurt my 2 sisters.
Yeah.
And I got really upset. So I said, you know what? We're going to deal with this tomorrow. But Mom, I said, no. So I went up to the high school with Thomas and they actually had law enforcement on campus. And I talked to the law enforcement and I had Thomas tell them what those boys were doing and the threats that they made. So they rounded up those 3 boys. And by the time it was all over with, those boys couldn't come within 300 feet of my son. And they stopped bullying him and taking his money.
Yeah.
But they threatened to hurt his 2 sisters. And that's why he didn't come home and tell me.
Yeah. And that's the challenge with bullying is that the kids that are being bullied, they rarely say,
and
they rarely say anything because they're afraid.
Yeah. And Thomas is very introverted anyway.
Yeah.
So, he would just take it. And I feel like part of the reason he did is because is a little bit my fault because where we were living at, if a kid bullied another kid and threw that first punch and then the kid that's trying to defend himself put the punch back, it wasn't just the one starting the fight that got arrested. The one defending himself also got hauled off to jail for the parents to come and get. And I told Thomas, I said, don't any of you fight back, just walk away. And I guess that was my mistake. I should have taught him to, stand his ground.
Yeah, I'm the opposite. I had 2 daughters. And so my last one was a son. But my girls, I'm like, look, if somebody hits you first and you defend yourself, you're going to get in trouble at school, but you will not be in trouble with me.
Yeah.
And it only happened one time. My daughter, some boy spit on her. And she beat his tail and she got suspended from school and she was afraid that I was going to be mad. And I was like, no, because I would have did the same thing.
Listen, I didn't want him to think I didn't want them to think I was going to be mad. I was worried about it being on their school records and when it's showing up when they try to go to college.
I was like, well, we'll deal with that. We'll deal with that if we have to. But if some child puts their hands on you, I want you to defend yourself if you feel comfortable doing so.
Yeah. If it's safe, if you feel safe. As a teacher, I can't tell them to do that.
Right.
But I hope that their parents tell them. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I'm like, why doesn't that kid just
Fight back.
But I can't say that as a teacher. So
Right. And what kills me too is that when there are parents that if you approach them, it's like, hey, it seems like our kids are having an issue, you know, and try to actually talk about it. The one time I've had to do that so far, it just did not go well. I mean, it was like that whole, well, my child would never do that. That's not my kid, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, great. So, but the other day, well, like I said, I think I said last week, when I say the other day could be yesterday or the other day could be 5 years ago. So a couple weeks ago, the kids had a dance at school and another parent came up to me and she said, for some reason, I don't know what's going on. She's like, but I think there's something going on with our girls. I was like, oh, what's up? And she actually came and talked to me about it. We actually had a conversation and I hugged her when we were done because I was like, thank you for actually like coming to me and talking about it and actually having just a conversation. That's not like, defensive or anything crazy, but it was just, I was floored after my first experience.
Rita says, haha, my youngest daughter did that when she was in the 1st grade and she beat the doo-doo out of a 6th grader for being a bully. Oh my gosh. She must have been a feisty little one. That's too
Every
funny.
time my kid's school is called, and they told me what my kid did. I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds like my son. I'm like, do y'all know your kids? Because I know my kids.
Exactly.
There's certain things that they say, and I'm like, oh yeah, be disrespectful. Yep, that's him. Yep. That's definitely him. I believe you 1,000%.
Yeah, I mean, I'm grateful for the parents that will say that. I know my child, and sometimes the children are different. My son was very different at school than he was at home. So, but in a good way. Yeah. At home, he's just very quiet. He doesn't talk much. But at school, he was the life of the party. The teachers all loved him and so on. So they talk about him and I'd go, really?
My son?
My son?
I don't sound like him.
And then being a Caribbean parent, I mean, sorry for him. I'm sorry for my kids because they have a Caribbean parent. But being a Caribbean parent, one day I found homework in my classroom and I thought it was his. So I went to his teacher and I said, did you give this homework? She said, yes. And I said, well, I think it's Justin's homework. And she was like, really? And I said, well, what's the consequence for not doing your homework? And she told me, and I said, well, that's what he gets. And she was like, no, Justin would never do that. I'm sure it's not Justin.
Oh boy.
And it wasn't his paper. So when she got back to her classroom, she sent me a text to say, Justin handed in his paper. That's not his paper. I knew he wouldn't do that.
Not the teacher being like, oh no, not Justin. That's adorable. I love that story. I like that story.
Hey, Debs, welcome. And hello, Lisa. Let me see here. Rita says, my youngest was something else. Haha. She had a teacher that would smack kids with rulers. Needless to say, the teacher was fired. Daughter stood on a desk and punched him. Oh my gosh. I saw the whole thing. Oh my goodness.
Oh, wow.
I remember the days of being smacked with a ruler.
Nowadays, kids, they're not allowed to be touched.
Nope.
Yep.
Not unless you want to get fired and get a lawsuit against you.
Yep. Walk away. I always say, their frontal lobe is not fully developed, and mine is. So, at least mine is supposed to be. So I need to self-regulate,
That depends on the day.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
But
That's
I've had
true.
to walk away as both as a parent and as a teacher. I've had to walk away. Just
Oh yeah, absolutely. And see,
walk
my
away.
daughter, what she wants to fix it right now.
Yeah.
Like, no, I want to fix it right now. I'm like, kiddo, we can't. We cannot talk right now. We need to take a time out because I need to calm down. You need to calm down. We need to.
Yeah.
Mom needs a beat. I need a beat.
Yeah. And but she's just like, Mom, sorry. No, kiddo, like we can't right now. It's sorry. Yep. And I get it because I used to be that same way, but I learned, you know, my limitations because when you deal with it in anger, usually it just goes a whole lot worse if you take a beat to calm down first.
Yeah.
My son is like that. He wants to talk about it right now, and I'm like, if we talk about it now, it's not going to go well for you.
No,
right?
You'll be grounded for the rest of your life.
Right, and it's like, you know, I try not to yell. He's 17, so I try not to yell and act like a crazy person. But there's only so much calm I can take in the moment. And then I'm going to go off and I'm going to start yelling and screaming and acting like a crazy person. And he doesn't like when I do that. And I don't like when I do that. So I'm like, let's just wait. Let's just give it some time. And he just will not. He'll just keep picking. And I'm like, so I'll literally put earbuds in and go in my room and close the door because there's not many options available to me.
Yeah. I had a parent who said to me once, I now know why parents murder their kids. She said, I was chopping vegetables yesterday. And I was like, okay, say no more.
Hey, Denise, welcome. Janice says, I posted the link on my community tab or post what?
Post. Yeah.
Post it's called now.
They've changed the name of the community tab to post, I guess, is what she's saying.
Yes, they did.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I hadn't even noticed. I just keep posting on it.
And Katie, I did. I put the link to the Remarkable Notebook in the Zoom chat for you.
Okay, let me go get it.
Yeah, I'm not on the YouTube live link.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I can post it here.
Oh, I've already pulled it up, read about it.
Do it in the chat here. The tablet Remarkable she was talking about, here's the link for that. For anyone who's interested in it, that's the link. I'm definitely going to go have a peek at that. Because that might be something it sounds like right up our way. Don't it, babe? Because both of us we have little notebooks everywhere where we write constantly in them. Oh, for her lamp. Gotcha.
Oh, that would be a great idea. Like for kids in school to keep track of their notes for class. Whether I would suggest, just because from a durability standpoint and being able to take care of it, like late middle school, high school age ish and up. Like my kids, yes, they know how to use electronics, but they can also not be as careful as they should be at times. So I would say, I probably personally, I wouldn't get one for my kids until they were like eighth grade. And yes, it helps keep so organized. It helped lighten that backpack load with the notebook. I mean, their books are already, 20 pounds a piece, something crazy. But yes, it would, that way, like all their notebooks now, I mean, do you run the risk of losing it? Yes. However, because it syncs with when you're on Wi-Fi, it syncs with your app. It's not lost forever. So there's that.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have had one for college. That would have been perfect for note-taking during lectures. You want to hear? Lisa's funny. Lisa says, Katie does not post. She writes essays, laugh out loud. This is true. Some of my posts are pretty long. And let me see here. Rita says, I was like, okay, where is the community page? Haha, and then realized it said post. I didn't even notice. I just clicked that. Hello, Teresa Louise. Welcome, welcome. Well, good to see you. And I see Joyce Hernandez is here also. Hello. I didn't even know. And hello, So Terry. And I almost have this block done. Took me a long time to do it, but let me get it pressed with the iron, and then I'll trim it and I'll show it to you. So I got block number 1 done.
How many blocks are in that quilt, Katie?
That is a good question. I know that we have this month 1. You got to make 20 of them.
Ooh.
Of these little 4-inch log cabin blocks.
Oh Lord, no.
Let me see here.
This is why my blocks are usually big in my patterns, because I do not do well with small blocks. I did flat quarter shop socialites, and I did some of them. You know, I think I did maybe 9, including my own, and so that's why it's on a shirt now.
Well, as you progress through the months, the blocks get bigger.
Okay.
What I've seen. Some of them are bigger.
Oh, good.
What I don't like is making the same block over and over again.
This is how much bigger on some of it.
Okay.
This one, it says it's 12-inch courthouse steps, 12-inch economy, and 12-inch snail trail. So when we hit that month, it'll be these big pieces of paper.
Okay. Janice, I'm the opposite. I love when all the blocks are the same, because that's like the biggest mental break for me. I don't have to think about anything.
Yep, just so.
Yeah.
Every sampler quilt I've ever started, I have not completed. Every single one. Every block of the month, every sampler, not completed.
I'm with you. I did the same thing. I can't, because when I do my quilts, I cut.
Yes.
You know, I cut every single month is different or anything like that, or just like then you have pieces and scraps and things like that. I'm like, no, just let me cut all at once and make it all the same.
Right.
Yeah.
And that way I know how everything fits together. I make less mistakes that way.
Well, I mean, I like to make all the blocks the same size. So, like, if I'm doing 12-inch blocks, then they're all 12-inch blocks. But I get bored.
I would have to get the calculator out and add all these blocks up.
Oh no, I thought it was simple. I thought it was a simple thing.
One thing about this quilt pattern, though, I'll show you something. When you do specific amounts of it, you do it in quadrants. But look how they put that together.
Okay, so it's not like you have like 50,000 blocks at the end, and you have to remember where they all go.
Yeah,
you can kind of put it together as you go.
Yeah, it's
okay.
Yeah,
that's reasonable.
Yep,
I still wouldn't do it, but that's reasonable.
I like doing it like this actually because it makes it more simpler to do. You're not confused by, especially when you're someone like me who's ankle challenged and turns something the wrong darn direction, you know?
Katie.
Yeah.
Judy says she finished the French twist and she wants you to remind her what the next block is.
The next block is this railroad crossing. And hang on, I'll tell you what block number and page it's on. This is the railroad crossing. Wow. Because we did that last night. And block number 973 and it's on page 494. Anyone else in the chat?
Katie, are you going through and doing each block from that book?
So here's how I started this so long. what I did is I randomly picked 4 blocks, and I took my cell phone and took a picture of the block itself in the book without all the extra stuff. And then I made a poll on my community tab and in my Greenland Quilter group, and I had them tell me which block they thought they would want to start first, or that they would like to see me start first. And then based on not just their voting, but I also asked them to comment on why they voted on that block or what was their feelings about a block. And then based on the voting numbers and also the comments that were made, then I decided to do French twist first because it was number 2 position. The number 1 position was this block called where's my book? It's called I think it's on page 491. I think it's where they put that. Hang on a minute. It has an interesting name, but when you look at the block, it's very intimidating. And I thought that maybe I should start the sew out by doing something a little bit simpler so that people could just get their feet wet. And then if they liked what was going on, because this book does not give you written directions on how to do it. So this is the one that got the highest votes. And right now, and so on our next sew, we're going to do this block.
Right.
That looks so much like a Body Hunter block that I did.
Yeah, it's I can't wait to see how much I mess it up. Well, I won't mess it up, but it'll be fun challenging myself to something a little more challenging, you know? So what I'm doing is every other week, we're going to do a block out of this book. Now, I'm going to do it all the way to December, so we may end up with a lot of blocks. Some people might get bored and stop doing them. But if I have enough blocks, because I don't have in my head what kind of setting we're going to do until I start seeing more blocks by everybody else, so I can figure out what kind of setting to do it in. And also, some may not want a big quilt. Some may want to just do a wall hanging and stop at some point. Yeah. I want to make a big one because, you know, it'll be fun making a big one. Because the biggest quilt I have is 108 inches wide by 120 inches long, I think, something like that. So it'll fit on the queen size a little bit, but it'll just be fun practicing skills. That's what to me, if I could get people to just sew this, it's a good skill builder. Mm-hmm. Then we'll make the decision later in the year. We'll see how it goes. I will reassess like in July and see where we are and see if people are still as interested as they are right now in it. And then we'll make a determination on whether we're going to keep going or if we stop. It's just, I think it's a good way to build skills. This book has things in here that I do not know how to do. There's a whole section on applique. Katie doesn't know how to applique.
Yeah, I would be out.
So I'm not.
I'm horrible at hand sewing.
Yeah. So this section is not even going to get touched because I don't know how to do it. So I can't teach something that I don't know how to do. And then there's a section for foundation paper piecing. Now the problem with this is when you buy the book, you get a CD and you could print out the paper piecing. But I saw somebody say that they bought the book and it didn't have a CD. So there's that problem. So I may just avoid anything that has paper piecing in it, unless it's something simple, and just stay with mostly doing piecing.
I wonder if they bought the book secondhand or something like that instead.
I don't know. I bought it. I bought mine from Amazon and it came with the CD and all the stuff is on the CD. And but I wasn't sure, I don't mind teaching paper piecing because I'm not an expert, but I know how to do it. But there is some paper piecing in here that when I look at it, I'm like, I don't know if I know how to do that or not. All right, hang on. I was pressing that block and got sidetracked.
I've dipped my toes in applique. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Well, I know the funny thing is I know how to do a reverse because I learned it in the first sugary do so long because we did circles and half circles, and some people did that little look like uh, a wadded up piece of paper. If it was improv is what it was. If
Okay.
they had a choice to do the improv style of it, and when I first saw her do it, I'm like, oh, that seems a little complicated. But then when I tried it for the first time, you know what? I don't mind doing the reverse. It's easy. Like, I had fun with it, but I've never done anything where you sew it on top, applique stuff. I haven't
I
done
did
that.
it by machine though.
Yeah, I do it by machine. I just use the zigzag stitch or the
How do you know?
blanket stitch.
So my question about doing it like that is how do you know what size zigzag to use on it and not just the length of the zigzag but the width of it too? How do you know what size to do it on?
So
Test it out on
I
the
do a
machine first.
practice. Yeah,
Yeah.
I do a practice piece first until I find one that I like, and then I use that one.
Do you think the blankets? Wait a minute. What's this thing saying? Do not do something. Do not trim on this line, but trim on this line. Okay, good. Do you think that the blanket stitch is better to use than the zigzag, or what's your thoughts on that?
Well, the blanket stitch is essentially a zigzag stitch, except that the stitches are closer together.
Oh, okay,
Am
gotcha.
I am I correct on that? That's what I think. I
Yeah,
think
basically, yeah.
basically a zigzag, but it's just that the stitches are closer together.
Okay, because I really
And
didn't know what the difference was.
when I learned to do hand applique as a child, it was the blanket stitch that we were taught first, to go around the edge of the applique.
Well,
But you
now that
can
I'm
do,
learning,
I mean, these days you can do raw edge applique. You can use any kind of stitch around the edge you want, any kind of decorative stitch that you want. It just depends on what you want, or you can turn the edges under. That's a lovely log cabin block.
I really
That's a
disappeared.
block I haven't done.
This is the first time me doing this one. I've never done the log cabin.
No, it came out good because they can
Yeah,
get wonky.
yeah.
Yeah, let me show you my courthouse step one, which is for the collab I'm doing with Sean. I never done courthouse stairs either, and it's in that 4-inch block. If I could find it. I have lots of projects sitting down here right now.
Mhm.
Okay, where did I put it? Oh, here they are. And this is my courthouse stairs.
Mhm. Nice,
They're cute.
lovely.
They're
And
like
that's the
they're
first time I've
little.
ever done it. So I think I actually have the skill set down pat on just just following the numbers and not get in a hurry and you know and that anyway, you know what I'm saying.
What is Nico doing? What is he working
Do you
on?
want to come show them how holy crap.
Yep.
Wow.
He's almost done.
I am almost done with my work.
He's almost done. He's he's working on a Lego Technic crane truck. And it has an engine inside of it and you can put batteries in it and it's got a remote. It's got a remote, right?
Yeah, I know the mother. I can control from the car.
From where?
From the car.
Oh, from the truck itself. So anyway, it has this motorized part in it. Okay, I missed some stuff being said. Um. Okay, Janice says she just subscribed to Shereece's channel. Thank you.
Thank
Um.
you.
Judy Smith said, for some reason, I thought you had done 3 blocks. I did watch yesterday. Yeah, so far we just finished number 2. And not next, 2 weeks from tomorrow, yesterday, we will start block number 3 because I'm doing it every other week. And then because I'm also doing another sew thing where I'm doing taking our scraps and making blocks. So that's every other week. So the opposing week I'll be doing a scrappy block. Because we want to use up some of those scraps in our stash. And I'm also doing a sew along with the channel where we're using up some of those charm packs we have so many of. You know what I mean? I think it's either Janice or Chaunda that don't have any charm packs, right?
It's me,
Yeah,
Janice.
Janice has
I'm
0
me.
free
I don't
cuts,
either.
right?
I don't
Oh,
either.
look, Shereece doesn't either. You know what? I counted mine and I had 141 of them.
That's a lot of charm packs, but I can't talk because I don't have that many charm packs, but I have a lot of everything else.
But you know when the last time I bought a charm pack? Since 2019. So all of that 141 I have came from before that. When I
At
was
least you didn't pay top
when I
dollar.
was this newbie and didn't know any better. All right, I need to get on this next one. We got 4 of these blocks to make.
So I'm determined not to have a stash that will outlive me.
Good for
Oh.
you.
Me too, Denise. Me too.
I'm scared I won't have a stash if tariffs blow my hobby out of the water.
Well, you're overseas, so I get that, Katie. I mean, I had the same concerns. So this wasn't just tariff, just because the cost of fabric was so much more expensive.
Yep.
The only time I would basically buy it is when I would come back stateside, or if I could order it and feel comfortable ordering it, like it all came together.
Yeah.
The year Riley Blake came out with their first Barbie fabric line in 2020, which I way overbought, another story. But, you know, something like a collection, you know, they're all going to go together. Okay, I was good ordering it online. Other than that, it was a matter of waiting till I went back stateside, you know, or using what I had.
Yeah. Well, I know that I think I have enough fat quarters in this house to carry me for a while. My yardage, on the other hand, I have a stash of yardage, but I probably will run out of that. If I run out of anything first, it'll probably be that because I tend to use a lot of yardage over pre-cuts. I only own 4 jelly rolls, and they're sitting in there collecting dust because I don't know what I want to do with them yet. And I might have less than 10 layer cakes. It was these charm packs I had so many of. I must have went bonkers. And uh Janice, you remember when we were at QuiltCon, you and Chaunda?
Mm-hmm.
We had that little what do they call it? Where you go to each of the booths and you visit the booth and you say hi, blah blah blah, and they give you a charm pack.
Mm-hmm.
All of these came from QuiltCon.
Oh.
Freebies.
Yeah. I got a mini charm pack and a fat quarter bundle.
Yeah. I have lots
From,
of, but this is
from
all I
Quilting.
have, and these came from QuiltCon. So I'm like, what
Yeah.
am I supposed to do with all these? I'm thinking about giving them as giveaways or something, since they were given to me.
Or
And I
sewn
have,
together as your leader enders. Make a
yeah,
make something.
yep, make some 4 patches out of them or something. I have misplaced those other free papers. Darn it.
Who shrunk 3 inches? Wait a minute.
Huh?
Joyce Hernandez says I was 5'8", now I'm 5'5". Don't tell me that. Don't say that. Because I used to be 5'2.5". I'm already 5'1". I do not want to shrink any further.
I love cotton cuts, Lisa. You will never convince me not to like them. I have my I think because of the PMQs, I think that's why my sewing skill set has improved so much. Because if you saw my first PMQ, which was Titania, it's already been quilted, so you can't see what it looked like on the back. It was a hot mess, but I was new. That Titania was in spring of 2019 or either 2018. And I didn't have a clue what I was doing because I was still a newbie. And then as time has progressed, my PMQs have improved drastically. So I'm thankful for it. And yep, the flying geese are annoying at times because I hate flying geese.
I always
I'm glad
do
I'm not the
the
only one.
Yeah, I don't like doing them. It's weird. I like doing half square triangles. You can let me do them all day long, and I'm fine with that. But put a flying geese in front of me, and it's just like, ugh.
If I can't use the Eleanor Burns 4 at a time method, I'm not doing it.
Yep.
Because it's the only one that lets you, it makes it bigger so you can trim it down. Other than that, it's going to be wonky. I cannot make a flying geese to save my life.
Nope.
So.
And my favorite block is the woven star. And you can't do the 4 at a time method because I'm one of the people that calls it goose, a flying goose, but there's just one. So each goose is different. So you can't do 4 at a time. You have to do them all differently and do the 1 at a time method. And unfortunately, I love that block. I will love it till I die. And it's just one of those things where it's like, I will suck it up making flying geese for that block.
Shereece, there's several people who have subscribed to your channel. Hang on, I'll tell you who they are. Let me see
like
here.
Chaunda, I also do crochet too. I love it.
Janice did, which you already knew, and then so Terry did, Teresa did.
That explains the sounds coming from my phone.
So your phone, I don't have to tell you then. It's going bing, bing, bing.
I wasn't. I have it on vibrate, and I just hear it buzzing every now and then. I wasn't looking at it, so I'm like,
well, now you know it's because
now I know why.
To your channel.
And I would sub, but I'm already subbed.
Yeah, I'm
already subbed too.
I'm already subbed to Chaunda.
That's okay. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it.
I'm subbed to Janice, but I do go in and check sometimes because they unsub you for whatever reason.
Yes. So Terry says once you master flying geese, you got it. That's not the problem. I just don't like doing them.
Right, exactly.
I don't like doing them.
So Chaunda, Joyce responded to your inquiry. She said she injured her back.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And in 95, and that's why she lost inches.
Oh, I just shrank. I'm sorry that happened.
My feet, my hands, and my feet. I think my hands too grew when I had babies.
A lot of things grow when you have babies.
Yes,
they do. But my thing was like, what shrunk and what didn't shrink after having babies. It was not the way that I thought it was going to be. I was expecting, the belly to not shrink as much and, the hips and stuff to not shrink as much. But all the other, some of the other things I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Really? Like, how is it smaller now? I don't understand.
And gravity kicks in and makes it even worse.
Yeah, goodness. It's just weird. I was, and okay, this may be, there's women on this channel, and sorry, man, if this offends you, but I breastfed both my babies. So they're like, oh yeah, I don't think those things are going away afterwards. And I had to buy all new bras just because they were all too big after the fact. I said,
this is not fair.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I'm glad we all can laugh about it.
Too funny.
It's called going south for the winter.
But it's a perpetual winter.
Right. This is the longest winter I have ever seen.
And Sherry says they say you lose a half an inch after every child you give birth to. Oh, no.
Oh, is that what happened? Because I lost 1.5 inches and I have 3 kids.
That is too funny. And then Laura says, my sister lost 3. Oh, you already read that one. Okay. Sorry about your sissy. And we're getting funny now. Do any of you have any part of your project you were working on finished yet?
Well, I've stopped. I've just stopped working on it. My fingers hurt. Ouch. And I've stuck myself with the needle.
I didn't know if you wanted to show it or not.
So I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the sections.
Nice.
Hang on, let me spotlight you so they can see.
And this is all hand sewn, hand pieced, and hand sewn.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have no desire to hand sew anything more than a button.
I love hand sewing.
Yes.
That's
Say
what I
that
do
again.
crochet for. Crochet is when I want to use my hands.
Yes, exactly. That is my hand work
Mhm.
time. Is my
Mhm.
crocheting. Me and my yarn and my hook. That's it.
Yep. Anne says it's a good thing y'all aren't drinking.
Oh God, no!
Oh.
I had to go
talk
and wipe
about
off
the
one of
walk
my
of fame.
videos. I got loopy.
I like crochet, but I haven't done a lot of it since I've been here. I crocheted and knitted a lot as a child, but I haven't done a lot of it. My daughter crochets now. And the funny thing about it is when I tried to teach her to crochet, she only wanted to learn the chain stitch, long chains. And then when she decided that she wanted to really learn to crochet, she went to YouTube to learn. And like, really?
That's
how
how
is
kids
how
are.
is YouTube an authority when you have me?
Yep. It's like they go the other way.
Yeah.
I haven't learned to knit
Ask
yet,
them about
but
it. They're like, but you don't have no patience. I'm like, what? Really?
Yeah.
maybe one day I'll teach, because everything I've learned I taught myself. So I taught myself to crochet. I taught myself how to quilt because there was no internet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I had to I learned from books. There was nobody in my family does the stuff that I do. Nobody.
Yeah.
I had a grandmother who crocheted, but she passed away before I ever got an interest in it.
I love your crochet pieces. They are stunning.
Thank you. I have fun with them. I really do.
Hey, we should do a collaboration of doing some project crocheting. What do you think about that?
You know
I
what's
would
fun to do is I've taken cross stitch patterns and crocheted them instead of cross stitch them.
Oh.
And you can do that based on like so you mentioned Stronger Together. So the first year that I designed the Stronger Together quilt, they also made a cross stitch pattern to go with it, right? I used that cross stitch pattern to crochet the same blocks.
Nice.
Did you write notes about it when you were doing it?
I did, yeah. Actually, I posted it on it's an old video, but it's on my channel.
Do you remember what video it's on?
Yeah, under I think it says Stronger Together. And actually, Chaunda, while I'm here, what was your YouTube channel again?
Under the Needle.
Yeah, I'm Under the Needle.
That's right. Thank you. There's you know what? Let me look, Katie, while you're asking under.
Okay. Because if you do it at crochet, I want to see. I would like to try it.
Yeah, it's mostly. I mean, most of my videos are they're quilting, but I do have some. Oh, there it is. Okay. Subscribe, and then let's see. The video is called. You want the link, Katie?
Either that, or you can just tell me the name of the video, and I'll go look it up.
And it's you know. That was a good question. Where is that video? Because I don't even see it.
Okay, whenever you find it.
I see a cross stitch charts for crochet.
It should be the second video on under crochet.
Second video, okay. Yep, I'll go watch it. Okay,
Yeah,
we got a show and tell happening here, y'all. Hang on, I need to do this so you don't knock it on the floor. All right. Nikolaj, is it all the way finished now?
Oh, it's on.
Dang. I want you to check this out, y'all.
Wow.
Spotlight him, Katie.
yes.
Oh, let me spotlight. Hold on.
Whoa.
Wait a
Well,
minute.
that's come a long way since you started.
Yeah, because he started it yesterday, and he waited till the date to finish it, and I'm about to lose
Oh my
it.
goodness.
That's pretty neat. I think I like that one out of all the ones you've done. I think I like the ones I've seen. I like that one the best.
Yeah.
I can open the cabinet and I can show you the engine. Oops.
Did something fall out? Yep,
Yeah.
it's right here.
Okay. And of course the battery operating part is right here.
Mm-hmm.
Then I can with the battery opening if I had batteries in it, I would have start immediately operating with these things that right here on this other side too,
Mm-hmm.
here, where I can turn the grain either way around and buckle up the crane too. And of course, I can take these supporters out too, so it can do like a real crane do, like a real motorized crane do. Where you can also put these down, and so it's supported the weight of the vehicle.
That's pretty freaking cool.
I think so too.
Yep.
Later
I
tonight.
sit here and say I would never have the patience, but then I look at what I do.
Yeah, we all do. Yeah, I mean, you just got to sit down and just chill while you're doing it. Put music on and just go with it, and you'll figure it out. Some people, he's been doing this a long time, just like my son, since he was young, and so. Unlike me, who didn't build much when the kid, I mean, I helped them with Duplos and stuff, but I really didn't have an interest until they started selling flowers and stuff. And then it's like, oh, wait, I want some of those.
And Chaunda, I'm with you. My family, the whole creativity gene skipped 2 generations. My great grandmother quilted. Nobody does a yarn craft. So, and I too learned. When I started not crocheting, quilting and cross stitch at the time. I did that too for a little while. It was by book from the public library.
Yep. I started with cross stitch, then moved to crochet, and then quilting.
So Rita says, I love hand sewing quilts. And then Anne says, that's beautiful. My sister Anne sews. And then Joyce says, hope you had fun, Laura, and get to meet. Okay, they're talking about something else. Denise says, nice, Janice. And then Rita says, I have done the same thing with cross stitch and turn it into making rugs on the peg loom. And then Laura says, it was a wonderful day. I met Ian, Becca, Tiffany, Karen Brown, Dee of Sister Ticks, Chris from Rose City Originals. I was on the lookout for others, but didn't see anyone else. Yeah, QuiltCon is big when it comes to trying to meet everybody. And then Ann says, great job, honey. Joyce says, oh, wow, Niko. And then she posted the link for you, Shereece.
I see it.
The crochet. Yep. So I'll add it on here so it's there for me to look at later.
Thank you.
And then Laura says, I live only 30 minutes away. I debated going because I haven't been able to walk for any real distance. He threw the wheelchair in the back of the truck and said, come on, get in the car. We're going.
That's what I'm talking about, Laura.
All right.
That's what's up.
That's great. And then she says, I did one work. She said she did a working model of a Peterbilt with a working engine years ago as a Lego. Did they have that part?
I think that's the one I got. Yeah.
The other one?
Yeah, the one that I cannot find for the moment.
Oh, that's the
I
one.
think I think I think it's a model team.
Okay. Then Carrie says my grandson sewed but was too long to
My grandma.
grandma sewed but was too long to teach me when I was old enough. And my mom sewed, knitted, and crocheted and taught us all. Yeah, now we're caught up.
Yeah, my mom was a seamstress. Well, she is a she still sews a little bit, and she did embroidery, crochet, macrame, knitting, all the things. So I learned from her. I was not interested in the sewing, but the crafty things, I was very fascinated by them.
My grandmother, she was the oldest of 13, and they were very poor. So she learned utilitarian stuff. So she taught me how to mend. She taught me how to hem pants, how to take in pants at the waist, how to insert darts, darn socks, and put on a button. So that kind of stuff I learned just from watching her, just from being around her. It's not like she ever sat down and taught me, but I was pretty much raised with my grandparents because my mother was so young when she had me. And so just being around her, I learned those things. But the craftiness, the only person that comes close is my mom has one sister, and she's crafty in the way that she's really good at, like, she can repurpose a suitcase and make it into an end table. She's really good at decorating and like those kinds of crafts. So she's crafty in that way. But fabrics and yarn, it's just me on both sides of my family, my dad and my mom.
Wow.
I don't know where I got it from.
My middle sister and I are the crafty ones, and hers worked out the same way. We are a Brady Bunch family, and so she got it from her great grandmother on her mom's side, and I got it from my great grandmother on my side. So we joke with my dad, like, Dad, what you guys do? Slack with the crafty genes over here? But yeah, she and I are the only two that are, have that creative mind that the others are, this is not there. And I did finish one block, and that's because it's simple. This is one block of the quilts. There's 9 of these in the whole pattern, but so I did finish one. I'm ironing them all. Very simple, very few pieces.
That's what I like. I did finish mending the 2 blocks that I sewed incorrectly. I was going to move to the binding, but I realized that it was the quilt was going to take up too much space while I'm trying with the camera in place. So now I'm just working on a block. But I did finish the project that I was working on the last time we sewed together.
Oh yeah? Oh, you did. Hang on. Gonna spotlight you so everybody can see. Wow, look at that.
Wow.
Really
Wow.
pretty.
Lovely.
Wow, I really like that. That
Oh
is
my
so
goodness.
awesome.
Yeah, I love how it came out. I really do.
Yeah, it looks wonderful. Yeah. That is beautiful.
So I was glad to get that done because I had gotten the top done, but I had to add the borders and then I had to, quilt it and bind it. So I wanted to get that done, so I did. So I was happy about that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you
But it
quilt
came out great.
yourself? Do you quilt yourself?
Oh, absolutely, because I'm cheap. I'm really cheap.
I mean, it's expensive to send things out to long
Yeah,
arm.
it's gonna cost me like at least $100 per quilt.
Hey,
Yeah, it gets, when I lived in Missouri, I used to be able to get a throw size, like a decent size throw, quilted edge to edge, and she would do the binding for $40 to $50.
I would do all of mine that way if I could get it at that price.
Right. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, I don't need to learn how to quilt. This is cheap enough. I could do this, right? And then I went out to the rest of the world and find out what the going rate was. I said, oh, honey, you need to learn how to quilt.
Yep.
I have considered getting like, because I have so many tops that I haven't quilted. I'm really good about getting the top done, not so much about finishing. So I did think about taking maybe 5 of my quilt tops that are not quilted and sending just those out, but we'll see.
Yeah,
So
I
there's
have
some
a
more.
really big one. It's like, I think it's 81 square. And could I do it? Yes. But it's just, I mean, it's just really, really big. And I did the one I did for my son, the same quilt pattern, but I did one in his colors because I realized I didn't have a single Christmas quilt that didn't have pink in it. Actually, I hardly have any quilts that don't have pink, period. So I felt bad, and I finally was a good quilt mom and made him one for Christmas this past year. But I had his done, and mine is sitting there still waiting to be quilted. I think I'm going to do it myself. I mean, I did my Barbie one, which was, it's like queen size wide, king size long. I don't remember exactly the dimensions. And I did it on my domestic machine and made it through. So I'm thinking I can do it. It's just, it is an arm workout.
Yeah. And
Yes.
once I put that quilt on my machine, I don't do anything else until that's done.
Right.
So there's no piecing that gets done. There's nothing else happens until that thing is quilted.
Yeah, I'm with you. I do the same thing.
That's why I'm loving these small projects because
Mhm.
I can literally quilt them in one session, maybe 2 if I get a little tired.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So there's some more comments. Anne says my grandma had a quilt shop. She also sewed Barbie wedding clothes. And then Terry says I sewed Barbie wedding dresses as well by orders. I had a small business with a dear friend of 40 years many years ago. And then Rita says I had to learn everything myself. Started at age 5, so 50 plus years ago. Birth mom. Wait. Started age 5. So 50 plus years ago, birth mom, I do not think she knew what a needle was. Then after the military, lived with dad, owned an upholstery shop. It's funny, my parents did upholstery on their own too. It was fun watching them. And then Terry says, my wonderful dad was also a very artistic person. I could fill up this chat with things he made. And then Anne says, wow, that's awesome. My grandkids would have loved that. And she says, love your table runner. It's beautiful. That was by Anne. And then Harry says he was a very special human being. And then Joyce says, that's beautiful, Chaunda.
Thank you,
And
Joyce.
Terry says she loves that, Chaunda.
Thank you,
And
Terry.
let's see here. Hello, June Hanson. Welcome, welcome. And Anne says, I want to make that table runner, Chaunda.
I love it.
Let me see here. Anne says, binding my t-shirt quilt now. And
Oh,
then
that's
Rita
oh.
says, yep, I'm not going to ever try t-shirt quilt, I don't think. Rita says, when I quit quilt afterwards, I feel like I have done 100-yard dash fighting with the bear, ha ha.
I'd say a marathon, Crystal.
Yeah. I know even when I'm just doing the smaller quilting, the smaller quilts, they're not that big, but big enough to be annoying any. I feel like I get tired. My shoulders is what hurts me the most.
Yeah, the upper back area.
And
I
my
feel
back.
like it's hunched
Yes.
over,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
strangest thing. That's why I want a desk where I can stand up with the sewing machine where I can just stand up and do it because I bet it won't have the shoulder.
Wow.
I want a long arm so bad. I was
Yeah,
playing with them at
oh,
QuiltCon.
Me too. Me too, Sean. I was playing with it at QuiltCon.
Oh, I want one so bad, but I don't have the space or the budget for it.
Yeah.
But
that's a
I would
problem
love to
here
have
too.
one.
No space,
Yep.
no budget.
Exactly. And actually, because I'm used to doing free motion quilting on my domestic, I actually have not on a long arm, but on a like a sit down long arm, like they call it medium arm, something like that, whatever it is. And
mid-arm, yeah.
because I'm so used to driving my quilt instead of driving the machine. So in my mind, I want the space, especially the throat and the table and all that. But I've tried the long arms, and I think it's just because I'm not used to it. I was like, I can quilt better than this. This doesn't look like something I want to do.
Yeah,
They're completely different skills. They're not the same.
It's a different way to do it. So I'm used to driving the quilt instead of driving the machine. So my brain just was having a hard time getting around that. But I think if I ever had the space, well, okay, and the money, I would invest in. Yes, yes, definitely computerized. And honestly, but I would feel like I would have to, because of the investment of those machines, I would have to use it like to also make money, not just to have fun with it. You know, because I just just to be able to, you know, counteract that cost or whatever. Counteract something I'm looking for, but anyway, to make up for that cost. But I just not in a position where I could have one for fun.
I know, I'm with you there. I'm with you there. Too. But I do look at the money I paid for my kid to go to college, and I'm like, that would have been fun.
Yes.
You better be lucky I love you. Oh, somebody earlier in the chat, I don't know who it was, but they said they're starting an applique series.
Yeah, I missed that. Whoever that was,
who was that?
Was that Lisa that said that? Are you still in the channel, Lisa? Let me see. She's still in the chat. Awkward. Yep. Wait. Yep, she's here. Hey, Lisa.
So Terry said she did one t-shirt quilt for her grandmother. She will not do another except for her. I hope she doesn't ask me to, though. I could not.
Yeah, that's so funny. I did one for my sister, and now my sister's mom wants one. I was no. Love you, no. And I don't even know if my own kids will get one. I will actually probably send their shirts out for somebody else to do them. I am not a fan. I've made two, and I was like, I'm good. And my sister's lucky she got hers, because Fat Quarter Shop was looking for people to do like a bucket list thing last year. Must have been last. No, year before, whatever it was. And t-shirt quilts was on the list. I said, okay, fine, I'll do that. Then I could get my sister done, kill that bird, help over here and do that bird. Awesome. Sure. After that, I was like, I'm done.
I've never done one, but I have been collecting my son's jerseys. So, but I don't know.
Vincent said hi to you. And
we shall see.
Did you guys see Anne's comment? She said she made 50. She has made 50 t-shirt quilts.
Ma'am, why? Why would you put yourself through that?
Maybe she likes it. The challenge.
Maybe.
Sometimes the challenge of it's what makes it fun. And then Rita says, I have 25 t-shirts that just keep calling my name, going t-shirt quilt. Ha. I am like, not yet. Ha. And Anne says, and then Anne says, get a t-shirt press or you'll never do a t-shirt quilt again. Seriously. And then Terry says, I have a mini quilt from the Grace Co. Oh, wait. I have a mini quilt frame from the Grace Co. I am enjoying it. And then Anne says, I free motioned on a DSM. I don't know what that is. And went to a 12-foot, 26-inch throat space. It was an easy transition.
The domestic sewing machine.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. And then Terry says, I did one t-shirt quilt for my granddaughter. I will not do another except for her. I hope she doesn't ask me to, though. And then Joyce says, I have a bunch of Betty Boop t-shirts I've been trying to give to anyone that wants them. You hear that? Anyone want a Betty Boop t-shirts? You give me
my Aunt Dot is a huge Betty Boop fan. She loves Betty Boop. Loves her.
Then Rita says, more than likely, all those t-shirts I have are going to get cut into strips for weaving on my loom. Oh, interesting.
I love weaving. This is something I did in college.
I've done a little bit of weaving too and liked it, but I've never done it with t-shirt fabric.
No.
I've done it with yarn though.
somebody in Adrian's family had asked me to make a t-shirt quilt for them, and I didn't know what was involved in it at the time. So I was like, well, let me look into it. And then I looked into it, and I was like, oh, I don't want to do this at all. So I just never mentioned it again, and I just prayed that she didn't. And she brought it up a couple of times, and I was like, oh, okay, well, yeah, let me see. And eventually, she sent them out to have someone else do it, and I was so grateful because once I saw how much went into it and how heavy they can get, I was like, oh, I don't want to do this at all. And then I have no connection. I have difficulty working on projects where I have no connection to the fabric that I'm working on.
Yeah.
I just knew it was going to be a miserable project. And she offered to pay, but I didn't want her money because I've never done it before. I don't know how this is going to come out. I didn't want to ruin her shirts. I was like, no.
Yeah, I'm with you on that because, you know, as far as working on a project that you didn't want to work on, like it didn't inspire you, it was somebody else's vision. That's why I don't do commission work. Like, you know, if you happen to want to buy one that I've already made that I'm selling, fantastic. But to make something specifically in their colors and, you know, and then all the things, and then you know, if it's not colors that you enjoy or fabrics that you like or speak to you, it is painful.
It's gut wrenching. Like, this is what I do is like a release. This is like fun for me.
Right.
This is, you know, how I forget about other stuff that life brings. And so if I sit down and I don't have any personal enjoyment, it just doesn't work.
Yeah. Same. Someone asked me to make a quilt for their daughter who was having a baby. And at the end of that process, where I designed the quilt, and then she had her opinions about it, and she wanted it this way and that way, and then she was you know, haggling about the price, and then she said, aren't you just sewing pieces of cloth together? Why is it so expensive? I'm like, you know what,
ma'am,
that was thank you very much. I'll never do that again. I will never do that again.
Ma'am, if it's that easy, I'm gonna need you to do it yourself.
Yes, I did say to her, listen, if you're looking for something that you can buy on Amazon or at Walmart, you're gonna have to go ahead and go buy it on Amazon or buy it at Walmart. She was like, no, I want, because I had done some quilts with with pictures on it. And so she wanted one with the baby's picture on it. And I'm like, listen, I'm not doing that again.
It's a hard no for me for most things. Like, people will see something that I make and they'll be like, oh, could you make me? And I'll be like, probably not.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I don't think people understand the time commitment that they are asking you. And it's like, what you're asking me to do is going to take me 40 to 60 man hours.
Yep.
If I don't think that you would spend that same amount of time doing something for me, then I'm not doing it for you.
Yeah.
And that's just how I feel about it. Now, if I make something for me, I will give it away. I will give away things that I have made for myself, and I will just give it away. But somebody asking me to make them something, it's usually a no. I did it one time, and I regret it.
Yeah. But I've made, like, I give away most of my quilts, but it's because I thought about making this quilt for this person. And I did it without their, you know, their request or even sometimes knowledge. Yeah, that's completely different.
And once I give it to you, I don't care what you do with it.
Yeah, same.
I let it go. Some people get mad. I see people getting mad because somebody had their dog sleeping on a blanket. And I'm like, look, once you give it to them. Now, if somebody asked me to make them something and then I see it on your floor, I might be upset. But if I just made something and I just chose to give it to you, I don't care what you do with it at that point. You can throw it in the garbage. You can give it to Goodwill because I'm giving it to you from my heart, and whatever you choose to do with it, I'm fine with.
I want it to be used. I don't want it to be put on a shelf for display. I want you to use it.
Because that's the problem. I can't use them because I've got too many already. So I need to pay them forward.
Yeah.
My dad asked me once, what are you going to do with all these quilts? As the whole family is laying underneath a different quilt. I was like, I don't know, Dad. What am I going to do with all these quilts that you're laying under?
Right.
Look at what Rita wrote.
Right. Like, I mean, but they're hanging on the walls, on, you know, their pillows. They change out the throws seasonally on the quilt ladder, you know, whatever. I just change them out seasonally, and that way they all get loved. But at some point, yeah, the collection's gonna have to start.
Yeah.
I will say,
it's crazy.
Now that I'm back to crocheting, I much prefer to lay under a crocheted blanket than a quilted one. So my crocheted blankets are on my couch, but my quilted ones are not.
Really?
Yeah.
Rita says, I had someone tell me they would give me $50 for a quilt, and I said, okay, and handed them a decorative pot holder. Haha, said, there is your $50 worth.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, Lord. That's too funny. My dog loves my quilts. I would not let my dog on my quilt.
You could at least give him a couple matching bowl cozies.
Yep. My daughter puts her kids' quilts away. My daughter-in-law throws them on the ground to step on the bug. I don't say a word. Now, when I give a quilt to a kid or whatever they do with it, that's their thing, and I'm not going to get mad about it.
Yeah,
I
you
might
can't.
not like it, but I'm not going to say a thing about it because it's theirs now. Gone.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know what? Even if the dog is on it, I mean, because whenever I would actually do hand binding, my last dog, that was her favorite time to come and snuggle up next to me.
Yeah.
Was when I was doing the binding, and she there. The whole couch could be empty, but she would always lay on the quilt. She would always lay on the quilt, never failed. So it doesn't even bother me if like the dogs cuddle up to them, and because they're like, you know, whether they want to be cozy, they want to be whatever, you know, pets love them, doesn't matter.
So let's talk about the poll. The poll I put up was, what fabric type do you like the least? And the answers that I put up was solids, prints, themed like holidays, and abstract modern. And here's the numbers. Out of 49 votes, 31% chose solids as their least liked, 16% chose prints, 27% chose themed holidays, which is tied with abstract modern. So those two got 27% of the vote of being the least. And
How many
is solid.
how many people didn't see the word least? I'm pretty sure I didn't.
Oh, did you vote for what you liked the most?
Yes. I'm pretty sure I did. That question on an exam always gets me.
It's a funny thing. And I've had this discussion with Nikolaj a couple times. It's funny that sometimes when I say something to someone, and I know that I articulated it properly, and I get an off the wall answer, and I'm like, you weren't listening to me to start. I heard what you said. I said, repeat to me what I said. And then when they go to repeat it, they can't repeat it because they were never listening to start with.
Yeah.
And then wonder why I get, because sometimes I swear I feel like because I'm 62 years old, I'm going senile because I say something and I get this weird answer. And I'm like, did I not say this?
See, I'm not the only one that didn't see the word least.
Y'all gotta read those questions.
Gotta read the full question, right?
Yep, that's right. Because I knew if I put which one do you like the most, you know.
Yeah, you just assume the rest of the question. I think that's what happens, even if it's not.
So that was a good moment there. Yeah. All right, thank you for participating in my poll tonight. That was fun. All right, we are 2 hours into the live now. I'm sure you guys have to go make dinner and everything else. So I'm going to spotlight each one of you, and I want you to repeat yourself again. I'll start with Chaunda. Chaunda, tell them about your channel one more time, and then I'm going to share the link while you're telling them.
All right. Well, my name is Chaunda. My channel is Under the Needle, and I just talk about quilty things I'm doing in my quilting life, fabric that I'm looking at, things that I've purchased, things that I've made, things that are in progress, things that I just feel like talking about for no daggone reason. Um, and that's pretty much it. And I have some crochet stuff up there as well.
Okay.
Very relaxed channel. I'm very relaxed.
Do you have any specific days that either pre-records or a live goes on?
I try to post on Thursdays, but doesn't always happen like that.
Okay. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to spotlight Janice, and you share a little bit about your channel as well. And I'm posting the link as you're talking to them.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Janice, and my channel is The Right Way. I do mostly quilting videos. I do a little bit of other crafts, some cooking. I like visiting quilt stores and recording my visits when they allow me. And yeah, it's just very relaxed. The right way for me just means you do it your way. I do it my way. No rules, no quilt police.
Yep.
And yeah, I do it for the stress relief and for the fun and just to engage with the community. And so that's what I do. I am not as regular with posting as I would like to be. My plate is very full, and so whenever I'm available, I'll do a quick live. I've tried to do at least one a week.
Okay, that's awesome.
I mean, honestly, Jen, I
Okay.
think you started your channel for the same reason I started mine. I just did it for the community.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to share Shereece, and you tell them about your channel, and I'll share your link.
Okay, Shereece Nicole of Sew Hooked on Treasures. My channel is primarily quilting. However, there is some crocheting splattered in there as well because I do enjoy both. However, most of my crochet work is for charity now. So I donate it through our church where they get lots of yarn, and so I get to enjoy my craft and then just make what I want just for hobbies. But I have been designing quilt patterns for at least 6 years now, and I am not regular on posting on YouTube. It isn't my primary platform. However, I do on occasion. So if you just click the subscribe, it'll tell you when I do get around to posting something. And actually, I was just working on something yesterday. I'm doing just a short block tutorial on it's a clover, like a 4-leaf clover. For actually, there's some of the fabrics over here for the next one. Just a quick quilt block since St. Patrick's Day is around the corner. I'm from Dublin, Ohio, is where I mostly grew up, so St. Patrick's Day has always been kind of a big deal. But anyway, yeah, that's my thing. That's what I do.
Okay. All right, everyone. It's that time of the night where I have to say, live, laugh, love, drink. What do you do from that? You make something beautiful. You guys, thank you for coming to our live tonight. I think that we all had a good time, and I love that I got these 3 ladies together with me to come and sew with me. So, did you sublimate?
Sublimate.
Yeah. Oh, that word just got me. Anyway, thank you for coming to the live tonight. Do you want to say bye to them? And yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Have a great night, everyone, and see you on the next live, which will be Tuesday, when Nikolaj and I come on to talk about what do you know about Greenland. Have a nice night, and thank you for coming to the live tonight. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
All right, let's end the live. Okay, we're stopped now.